morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I note that our hour has come and a quorum of this city council is present. This council session is now in order. To give our invocation this morning, the chair recognizes Elder Ritten Wright of Oak Lane Presbyterian Church. He is here today as guest of Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips. I will ask all members and guests to please rise.
Good morning. As introduced, I am Renton Wright, an elder at Oak Lane Presbyterian Church, here this morning to give the opening prayer. And I bring from my congregation at Oak Lane Presbyterian Church salutations and a great sense of gratitude for you all having us here this morning. Oak Lane Presbyterian Church, being a church in the northwest section of Philadelphia in the East Oak Lane neighborhood, in the 9th Councilmatic District, where we are happily and wonderfully represented here on council by Councilman Anthony Phillips. And we thank you all for all the work that you do. The gratitude that I bring comes from 2 points of origin. First being our gratitude for the work that City Council as a governing body does for this city to make it the wonderful place that we all live and enjoy and work in, and where many of us have raised our families. And the second point of origin where that sense of gratitude emanates from is the fact that we were invited here by Councilman Phillips to present this, and I want to thank him for that, and I want to thank council, and I personally want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to present this opening prayer. So with that, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather this morning with thanks and praise in our heart for you awakening us all this morning to allow us to participate in this glorious morning that you have in store for us. Heavenly Father, not only are we appreciative of this day that we are able to participate in, but Heavenly Father, we are grateful for all of the days in the past that have brought us to this point, all the days, the weeks, the months, years, and hopeful decades that you have planned for our lives going forward. Heavenly Father, we also thank you for allowing us to assemble in this chamber this morning so that the governing body of Philadelphia, this wonderful city of Philadelphia, can continue to deliberate, discuss, discern, and come up with solutions to issues and obstacles that may arise that may stand in the way of their continuing to do their due diligence to make this city the wonderful city that we know that you have in store for it. And Heavenly Father, we know that with your leadership and your guidance, and us as sheep and you as the shepherd, that the mission of this council will go in the direction that you have fit, and it will come to the successful conclusion that you have for it. Heavenly Father, we also want you to be with council as they prepare for the many exciting events that are in store for this city in the upcoming days, weeks, months throughout the rest of the years, with the biggest one probably being the celebration of our 250th birthday of the founding of this wonderful country here on your wonderful planet Earth. Heavenly Father, where literally within a mile or so from where we gather this morning, the founding and the foundation of this country was put in place, whereas we can enjoy it as we do today. So Heavenly Father, we thank you for that. We thank you for the work that the City Council does and will continue to do to ensure that this city and the municipality maintains the vibrant city that we all enjoy as we are gathered today. So Heavenly Father, continue to be with them, lead them as their shepherd, lead us all as the sheep that we are, disciples of yours, following your shepherd lead, Heavenly Father, because we know that everything that you are involved in will have the successful outcome that you have intended for it. So Heavenly Father, please be with us all as we move forward today and throughout the days of our lives as we move forward and pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. The chair thanks the elder for the invocation. Council will now be at ease. The next order of business is the approval of the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May the 7th, 2026. The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May 7th, 2026 be approved.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, May the 7th, 2026 stand approved. All in favor will indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the journal is approved. The next order of business is request for leave of absence, and the chair recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the majority, there are no requests for leave of absence today.
The chair thanks the Majority Leader. The chair recognizes Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the minority, we request a leave of absence for Minority Leader Kendra Brooks today.
Thank you very much. The chair thanks the councilmember and leave will be granted. The chair now recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain legislative matters that may arise during the course of today's session of council and that were not listed on the calendar circulated prior to today's council session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that any of the following matters, if considered today, may be added to the agenda for this session of council and as required by law, subsequently published on an amended agenda after the consideration of those matters. Resolutions authorizing hearings, amendments to bills on first reading, the reconsideration of a bill vetoed by or recalled from the mayor, amendments to bills recalled from the mayor, resolutions taking substantive action to be voted on in this session, a motion to withdraw a bill or resolution that is is not on the calendar, and the motion placing a bill or resolution on or returning a bill or resolution from the suspension calendar that is not listed on today's calendar. The purpose of this motion is to provide the public with notice concerning possible actions by council that arose too late to be included on the calendar that was published prior to today's session.
It has a move and property seconded that the legislative matters stated by Councilmember Catherine Gilmer Richardson may be added to the agenda for today should those matters arise during the course of this session of council. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it and the motion carries. The chair will dispense with the regular order of business to recognize the guests and visitors joining us in chambers this morning. On behalf of all members of City Council, I welcome you to our council session. We appreciate you taking the time to join us as we attend the legislative affairs of our great city. We certainly invite you to come again. The chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to the city of Philadelphia. We have some very special guests here with us today. I want to thank my brother in North Philadelphia, Councilmember Young, representing this great organization. Also want to say thank you to Rep. Andre Carroll for recommending this organization. Can the Black Hawks Athletic Club please stand? They're in the balcony here. The Black Hawks represented the city of Philadelphia in a very positive way, Council President. Hopefully we can get some positive attention, because when young people go places and do something negative, they're all over social media. But these young people went to Florida and they defeated the Ducks of California to win the American Youth Football 12 and Under Division I National Championship, becoming one.
Thank you all for standing for our young people.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's encourage them and let's uplift them.
So they finished the season as one of the only teams in the history of Philadelphia to bring a national football championship back to the city, and they are one of the best teams in the entire country as they finish their season as the #2 ranked team in the entire country. I just want to say congratulations and thank them for being here, watching their action in government. But most importantly, let's make sure we highlight these young people for the great things they did, just like we highlight young people when things don't go well. So thank you, young people. We're glad you're here, and we appreciate all the parents and adults. Thank you.
And I want to acknowledge one of your coaches is from South Philly, Coach Mook, and thank you for the hard work you're doing for the Black Hawks of North Philly. Let's give them a round of applause, y'all. Uplifting our young people, that's what it's about. At this time, the chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass, who will present a resolution recognizing and honoring May 21st of each year as Owner Judge Day in the city of Philadelphia. Will Michael Cord and those accompanying him please join the Councilmember Cindy Bass at the podium? Joining Member Bass is Councilmember Jim Harity, Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips, Councilmember Rue Landau, Councilmember Dr. Nita Ahmed, and Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke. And Councilmember Curtis Jones. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you today as we celebrate Owner Judge Day. And because we don't have council session next week, we're here today to celebrate May 21st of each year as Owner Judge Day in the city of Philadelphia. Ona Judge was an enslaved African woman who was held by George Washington at the President's house right here in the city of Philadelphia. On May 21st, 1796, she courageously escaped bondage and claimed her freedom. Of the 9 enslaved African descendants held by Washington in Philadelphia, Ona Judge was the only one who escaped and was never recaptured. Despite repeated efforts to force her back into slavery, she refused to surrender her freedom and lived the rest of her life as a freed woman. All right now. Yes, yes. Her story reminds us that the struggle for liberty in America was not only written in founding documents, but carried forward by people brave enough to demand freedom for themselves. By honoring Ona Judge, we honor truth, resilience, and the ongoing fight for justice, and the resolution reads, recognizing and honoring May 21st of each year in the city of Philadelphia as Ona Judge Day. Whereas Ona Judge was one of 9 enslaved African descendants held in bondage by George Washington during his presidency from 1790 to 1797 at the President's house, located at 6th and Market Streets in Philadelphia, the site of America's first White House. And
whereas despite Pennsylvania's 1780 gradual Abolition Act, along with its 1788 amendment and the status of Philadelphia as the city with the largest free black population in the nation at the time, Ona Judge and others were unlawfully kept enslaved through deliberate efforts to circumvent and actually break the law. And whereas on May 21st, 1796, Ona Judge courageously escaped from bondage, resisting the institution of slavery and asserting her right to freedom, ultimately fleeing to New Hampshire, where as a free woman, she outlived Georgia Martha Washington by more than 50 years.
Whereas Ona Judge's life represents a powerful act of resistance, self-determination, and courage as she evaded repeated efforts to recapture and refused to return to enslavement despite pressure and pursuit. And whereas her story is a critical part of both Philadelphia's and the nation's history, illustrating the contradictions between the ideals of liberty and the realities of slavery in founding of the United States. And
whereas Ona Judge was one of 9 enslaved African descendants held at the President's house, and while this resolution recognizes her specifically, it does not diminish the lives, struggles, and humanity of the 8 others who were also held in bondage, including Hercules, who similarly escaped from George Washington's household. And whereas the Avenging the Ancestors Coalition, ATAC, founded in June 2002 by Michael Cord Esquire, has led sustained advocacy to ensure the truth about slavery at the President's house is told, preserved, and publicly recognized. And
whereas on May 21st, 2003, and every year since, the Avenging the Ancestors Coalition has organized commemorations honoring Ona Judge's escape, ensuring that her legacy and the broader history of enslaved African descendants in Philadelphia are remembered and uplifted. And whereas formally recognizing May 21st as Ona Judge Day will institutionalize this history within the city of Philadelphia, ensuring continued public education, reflection, and recognition of the struggle for freedom and justice. Now, therefore be it.
Resolved by the Council of the City of Philadelphia that it hereby recognizes and honors May 21st of each year as Ona Judge Day in the City of Philadelphia and encourages residents, educators, institutions, and community organizations to commemorate this day through education, reflection, and programming that uplifts the history and legacy of Ona Judge and all those who resisted enslavement. And further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to the Avenging the Ancestors Coalition, ATAC, better known, as evidence of the sincere admiration and respect of this legislative body. Congratulations. Thank you all.
The chair recognizes Michael Core Esquire for remarks.
It's a dangerous thing to put a microphone in front of me. How many hours do we have? In all seriousness, let me take about 30 seconds, and 9 of the 30 seconds, I just want folks to pause in honor of the 9 enslaved African descendants at 6th and Market, one of which is Ona Judge. So just for 9 seconds, please, we'll have a 9-second moment of silence. And now, with my remaining 21 seconds, I want to thank council for doing what it did today, because early on when we began this battle, we had hoped that we'd become legitimate and official, and we have become legitimate and official. I say legitimate because the attack started off as I don't want to call us a gang, but we were a guerrilla army avenging our ancestors. And now we've gotten the official sanctioning from this legislative body, and we appreciate it. And the final thing I want to say is this. It's not only great that City Council has done this, but it's timely. We're on the eve of the 250th anniversary of the birth of this country, and many people will be parading around saying how much of a patriot they are, how much they love this country. But you can't love something unless you know the good, the bad, and the ugly. You might think you love your husband or your wife because he or she or they brings you flowers every morning, but you didn't realize that they were a serial killer at night. So you need to know everything about them. So when I talk about America, you can talk about the good. And the good of America is the battle against tyranny. I'll concede that. But then you got the bad about America, the mistreatment of women, and you have the ugly about America, the genocide of our red brothers and sisters, and the enslavement of the black ones. Thank you, City Council.
Council will be at ease. The chair recognizes Councilmember Mike Driscoll, who will present a resolution honoring and congratulating someone who is well deserved of such an honor, that's Sam Rhodes of PIDC, on his retirement after 31 years of distinguished service. PIDC is Philadelphia's public-private economic development corporation, and recognizing Sam Rhodes for his transformative impact on the city's economic landscape. With Sam Rhodes and those accompanying him to the podium, please join Councilmember Mike Driscoll. Joining Councilmember Driscoll are the following council members: Councilmember Rue Landau, Councilmember Mark Squilla, Councilmember Jim Harity, Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips, Councilmember Ketsi Lazada, and Councilmember Cindy Bass. And the floor is yours, Member Driscoll.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This is a big day for us to honor Sam Rhodes and his family and his friends. Sam's contributions to this city often go unnoticed, but that'll change today because it'll be forever engrossed in city council history. This man has been working since 1995 at the Philadelphia Industrial Development Corporation, working on projects like the Navy Yard, the sports complexes, the medical district there where CHOP is, the old Schmitz Brewery site. I can go on and on about the behind-the-scenes work that Sam Rhodes has done that will be forever etched in our history, both in our economy and in our projects as we drive throughout the sixth largest city in America. So we're very grateful, Sam, for your contributions and for your family that allowed you to give us so many of your weekends and nights and you name it. So with that, I'll begin our well-deserved recognition of you, Sam Rhodes. Honoring and congratulating Sam Rhodes on his retirement after 31 years of distinguished service at PIDC, Philadelphia's Public-Private Economic Development Corporation, and recognizing his transformative impact on the city's economic landscape. Whereas Sam Rhodes joined PIDC on January 3rd, 1995, embarking on a career spanning more than 3 decades defined by innovation, leadership as executive vice president, and brief tenure as interim president, where he guided the organization's real estate, financing, and business support functions through its most pivotal chapters. And
whereas Sam was instrumental in introducing and scaling critical financial tools, including the first local use of tax increment financing, TIF, the HUD Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program, and the launch of PIDC's Community Development Financial Instrument, CDFI, which has become essential engines for inclusive local development and capital delivery to underserved communities. And
whereas Sam's expertise in public-private project finance helped catalyze the revitalization of Philadelphia's most iconic landmarks, including the master plan transformation of the 1,200-acre Philadelphia Navy Yard into a global innovation district. His integral role in structuring the development of the Philadelphia Current Professional Sports Complex and his contribution in facilitating the complex financing required to renovate and repurpose several vacant historic high-rises into world-class hotel accommodations. And
whereas his leadership drove the transformation of the industrial site like the former Schmitz Brewery at 2nd and Girard, a project that jump-started growth in Northern Liberties, Fishtown, and Kensington. The evolution of the former Civic Center into a world-class healthcare and life sciences campus, now anchored by leading institutions such as Penn Medicine and the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, CHOP. And
whereas beyond his technical mastery, Sam has dedicated himself to the community through broad service at the White House, the Worcester Institute, as well as through board service, while serving as a steadfast mentor to generations of PIDC staff, cultivating a culture of excellence and integrity that will shape the city's economic development for years to come. And
whereas on May 15, 2026, Sam Rhodes will conclude his 31-year chapter at PIDC, leaving behind an indelible imprint on the city's skyline and economic landscape as he transitions into a well-deserved retirement to focus on his family. Good for you. Good for you. Now, therefore, be it
resolved that the Council of the City of Philadelphia hereby honors and congratulates Sam Rhodes on his retirement and expresses its sincere gratitude for his decades of visionary service to the City of Philadelphia. Further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to Sam Rhodes as a token of this legislative body's profound respect and admiration. And if I could add, take a moment of personal privilege and just say, as a board member of PIDC, congratulations on your retirement. We have some folks joining us here on the podium. And with the City of Philadelphia getting ready to open up on the world stage, with FIFA and so many other things happening, so much of what is happening has been accomplished through Sam Rhodes making it happen for our city. And so we really wouldn't be the city that we are today without your expertise, input, and involvement. Thank you, Sam, for your years of service. God bless.
Congratulations. The chair recognizes Sam Rhodes.
I didn't prepare anything, but I started at PIDC 31 years ago for one reason, which is I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, and I was really excited at the opportunity to figure out how to encourage investment into every neighborhood of the city, including the lowest income neighborhoods of the city that had seen so much disinvestment over such a long period of time. But I will tell you, 31 years ago, that's why I took the job. I never for a second thought that 31 years later I would be standing in this room in front of this group. And I thank you to the council people. I thank you to my family. Thanks for coming out. You do wonderful, wonderful hard work. I appreciate the positions that you're in every day. And I thank you for this honor. It's truly an honor.
Council will be at ease. The next order of business is communications. The chair requests that the Sergeant at Arms deliver the messages from the mayor to the chief clerk. Will the chief clerk please read the messages from the mayor and any other communications in his possession?
To the President and the members of the Council of the City of Philadelphia, I am submitting herewith for the consideration of your honorable body the following proposed. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Planning and Development on behalf of the city to file applications with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for a Community Development Block Grant, to file applications to participate in the Home Investment Partnership Program Development Block Grant, to file applications to participate program and the Emergency Solutions Grant Program to apply for a Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS grant, to file applications with the Commonwealth to obtain grants under the Act of April 12, 1956, PL 1449, Section 4, as amended, to prevent and eliminate blight, authorizing the Director of Planning and Development and the Director of Commerce to file applications to obtain other grants from the Commonwealth, authorizing the Director of Commerce to use the Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program, and authorizing the Director of Planning and Development and the Director of Commerce to enter into all understandings and all assurances contained in such applications and take all necessary action to accept the grants, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing an increase in the non-electoral indebtedness of the city within the Pennsylvania constitutional limit, authorizing the bond committee to sell bonds at public or private negotiated sale to provide funds toward various capital and municipal purposes, providing for appropriations to the Sinking Fund Commission for the payment of such bonds, and authorizing agreements to provide credit or payment or liquidity sources for the bonds in connection with issuance of the bonds and certain other actions. An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement, including a lease amendment for a portion of the premises at 1341 North Delaware Avenue for general office and administrative use by the city, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for use by the city of a portion of the premises located at 701 Market Street, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance amending Chapter 19-1200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Parking Tax to amend the definition of a parking facility to exclude bus loading facilities from imposition of the parking tax under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance amending Section 14-702 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Floor Area, Height, and Dwelling Unit Density Bonuses to clarify the terms of the Public Street Enhancement Bonus and make related technical changes under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance amending Chapter 19-200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled City Funds, Deposits, Investments, Disbursements by amending Section 19-201 entitled City Depositories to remove Bank of New York Mellon as an authorized financial institution in which the city treasurer may deposit funds, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing the city treasurer on behalf of the city to enter into a provider agreement with the Citizens Bank National Association for provision of payroll banking services to the city under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing and approving the execution and delivery of a service agreement between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority relating to the financing of the acquisition of 400 North Broad Street and 1501 Callahill Street, together with certain ancillary property rights, which premises the city has subleased for use as the city's police headquarters and certain other uses, approving the issuance of the authority of bonds, notes, and other evidences of indebtedness, including reimbursement obligations related to lines or letters of credit, in one or more series to finance or refinance such acquisition costs, and authorizing and approving the obligation of the City of Philadelphia to pay in full, when due, the service fee and other amounts payable under the service agreement, authorizing certain city officers to take certain actions required to issue such bonds, notes, or other evidences of indebtedness, covenanting that the City of Philadelphia will make necessary appropriations in each of the city's fiscal years to provide for and will make timely payments of the service fee and other amounts due under the service agreement, and authorizing and approving the Director of Finance of the city and other city officials to take other necessary and appropriate actions to effectuate the purposes of this ordinance, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance amending Section 12-701 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Designation of Bicycle Lanes to authorize a bicycle lane and removal of parking on Roberts Avenue between Henry Avenue and Fox Street under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development to convey fee simple title to all or a portion of the property known as 5501 Tacony Street for less than a fair market value under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property of the City of Philadelphia on behalf of the City of Philadelphia and in cooperation with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority to undertake a project to promote the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the City of Philadelphia, authorizing and approving 1, a project including the refunding of bonds issued to refinance the new youth center facility. 2, 1 or more amendments to an existing ground lease as previously amended between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority. 3, 1 or more amendments to an existing prime lease as previously amended between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority, and the assignment of such amendments to a trustee. And 4, the obligation of the City of Philadelphia to pay rent under the prime lease as amended when due, approving the issuance by the Philadelphia Municipal Authority of bonds in 1 or more series from time to time to pay the cost of such project, authorizing certain officers of the City of Philadelphia to enter into such lease amendments and to take such other actions as may be necessary or appropriate to accomplish the intent and purpose of this ordinance, agreeing to be bound by each and every provision, covenant, and agreement set forth in the ground lease and prime lease as amended, covenanting that the City of Philadelphia will make necessary appropriations in each of the City of Philadelphia's fiscal years to provide for and make rental payments when due under the prime lease as amended, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance approving the fiscal year 2027 capital budget, providing for expenditures for the capital purposes of the Philadelphia Gas Works, including the supplying of funds in connection therewith, and acknowledging receipt of the revised forecast of capital budgets for fiscal years 2028 through 2032, all under certain terms and conditions. An ordinance approving the amendment of the fiscal year 2026 capital budget, providing for expenditures for the capital purposes of the Philadelphia Gas Works, including the supplying of funds in connection therewith, subject to certain constraints and conditions, and acknowledging the receipt of the revised forecast of capital budgets for fiscal years 2027 through 2031 as amended. A resolution confirming the appointment of Layla Beebe to serve on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. And I am pleased to advise you that on May 12th, 2026, I signed the following bills which were passed by council at its session on May 7th, 2026. Bill number 251029, Bill number 251067, Bill number 251100, Bill number 260242, Bill number 260265, Bill number 260266, Bill number 260337, Bill number 260338, Bill number 260339, and Bill number 260341. There are no further communications in my possession, Council President.
Thank you very much. The messages will be printed in a journal. The next order of business is the introduction of bills and resolutions. The chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Good morning, Council President Johnson, and also good morning to everyone here today. I have 2 privilege resolutions and 1 bill for introduction today.
Thank you very much. Will the chief clerk please read the title of the bill and resolutions?
An ordinance regulating the direction of movement of traffic on the 6500 block of Pine Ridge Road between Cheltenham Avenue and Farrison Drive, and removing the no parking anytime restriction on the 6500 block of Pine Ridge Road, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to your appropriate committee.
And a privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Ad Prima Charter School for being designated as a 2026 State and National School of Character, becoming the first school in Philadelphia to receive this distinction, and celebrating this extraordinary achievement as a testament to the school's commitment to strong culture, ethical leadership, character development, and educational excellence.
This resolution will be placed on the day's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Russell Byers Charter School on the occasion of its 25th anniversary and celebrating 25 years of educational excellence, civic purpose, and service to children and families in the city of Philadelphia, and further recognizing Loretta Byers for her visionary leadership and enduring impact.
This resolution will be placed on the day's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Majority Leader Captain Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Today I offer 7 bills on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bills.
An ordinance amending Chapter 19-1200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Parking Tax to amend the definition of parking facility to exclude bus loading facilities from imposition of the parking tax under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance authorizing an increase in the non-electoral indebtedness of the city within Pennsylvania constitutional limit, authorizing the bond committee to sell bonds at public or private negotiated sale, to provide funds toward various capital municipal purposes, providing for appropriations to the Sinking Fund Commission for the payment of such bonds, and authorizing agreements to provide credit or payment or liquidity sources for the bonds in connection with issuance of the bonds and certain other actions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property of the City of Philadelphia on behalf of the City of Philadelphia and in cooperation with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority to undertake a project to promote the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the City of Philadelphia, and authorizing and approving a project including the refunding of bonds issued to refinance the new youth center facility, one or more amendments to an existing ground lease as previously amended between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority, one or more amendments to an existing prime lease as previously amended between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority, and the assignment of such amendments to a trustee, and the obligation of the City of Philadelphia to pay rent under the prime lease as amended when due, approving the issuance by the Philadelphia Municipal Authority of bonds in one or more series from time to time to pay the cost of such project, authorizing certain officers of the city to enter into such lease amendments, and to take such other actions as may be necessary or appropriate to accomplish the intent and purpose of this ordinance, agreeing to be bound by each and every provision, covenant, and agreement set forth in the ground lease and prime lease, each as amended, and covenanting that the City of Philadelphia will make necessary appropriations in each of the City of Philadelphia's fiscal years to provide for and make rental payments when due under the prime lease as amended, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance authorizing the city treasurer on behalf of the city to enter into a provider agreement with Citizens Bank National Association for provision of payroll banking services to the city under certain terms and conditions.
And this bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance approving the fiscal year 2027 capital budget, providing for the expenditures for the capital purposes of the Philadelphia Gas Works, including the supplying of funds in connection therewith, and acknowledging receipt of the revised forecast of capital budgets for fiscal years 2028 through 2032, all under certain terms and conditions.
And this bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance approving the amendment of fiscal year 2026 capital budget, providing for expenditures for capital purposes of the Philadelphia Gas Works, including the supplying of funds in connection therewith, subject to certain constraints and conditions, and acknowledging the receipt of the revised forecast of capital budgets for fiscal years 2027 through 2031 as amended.
And this bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing the Director of Planning and Development on behalf of the city to file applications with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for a community development block grant, to file applications to participate in the Home Investment Partnership Program and the Emergency Solutions Grant Program, to apply for a Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS grant, to file applications with the Commonwealth to obtain grants under the Act of April 12, 1956, PL 1449, Section 4, as amended, to prevent and eliminate blight, authorizing the Director of Planning and Development and the Director of Commerce to file applications to obtain other grants from the Commonwealth, authorizing the Director of Commerce to use the Section 108 Loan Guarantee Program, and authorizing the Director of Planning and Development and the Director of Commerce to enter into all understandings and assurances contained in such applications and to take all necessary action to accept the grants, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. Chair recognizes Councilmember Jamie Gaultier.
Good morning, Council President. Today I have 7 bills, 5 on your behalf, and 2 privileged resolutions.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bills and resolutions.
An ordinance extending and preserving zoning approvals, density and dimensional bonuses, and mixed income housing bonus entitlements granted to the Village Square on Haverford mixed-use affordable housing development located at 601 North 37th Street, 3601 Haverford Avenue, and 3611 Haverford Avenue in the Mantua neighborhood of Philadelphia, and providing for related matters.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Wyalusing Avenue, Lancaster Avenue, May Street, Westminster Avenue, and 47th Street.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance amending Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Zoning and Planning, by amending certain provisions of the CMX-1 Commercial Mixed Use Zoning District regarding uses, dimensional requirements, and parking, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance amending Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Zoning and Planning, by revising certain provisions of Section 14-513, entitled Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District, to rename it Transit-Oriented Communities Overlay District, to expand its applicability radius, and amending various sections to make changes to applicable use, dimensional and parking standards, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
To amend Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Zoning and Planning, by revising certain provisions related to the Transit Improvement Bonus, to clarify its parameters and revise the bonus structure, and by making related changes, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance amending Section 14-513 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Transit-Oriented Development Overlay District, by exempting certain districts from ground floor use requirements, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
Amending Section 14-600 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Use Regulations, to allow transit station use in commercial zoning districts, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And a privileged resolution declaring May 13th, 2026 as the 41st anniversary of the MOVE bombing as a day of reflection and remembrance in the city of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on the Environment to hold hearings on the implementation and progress of Vegetated Green Stormwater Infrastructure, GSI, under the Green City Clean Waters Initiative, and to examine the benefits of expanding green stormwater infrastructure throughout the city.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. Chair recognizes Councilmember Majority Whip Isaiah Thomas.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Today I offer two resolutions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. The Chief Clerk, please read the title of the resolutions, please.
A privileged resolution honoring and congratulating the Black Hawk Athletic Club under-12 football team on winning the 2025 American Youth Football 12U Division National Championship.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution recognizing and honoring the month of May as Youth Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Philadelphia to center the well-being of young Philadelphians and urging for youth-led, trauma-informed investments in every neighborhood.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilmember Curtis Jones, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I offer three bills, one on your behalf.
Thank you very much, sir. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bills.
An ordinance amending Title 22 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Public Employees Retirement Code, by modifying the circumstances when certain City of Philadelphia employees are entitled to service-connected death benefits, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance amending Title 12 of the Philadelphia Code, entitled Traffic Code, to designate East Memorial Hall Drive and West Memorial Hall Drive in Fairmount Park as one-way streets under certain terms and conditions, and authorize and/or empower the Department of Streets for the City of Philadelphia to take any and all necessary actions to enforce this ordinance pursuant to Chapter 12-600 of the Philadelphia Code.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Roberts Avenue, Wissahickon Avenue, Hunting Park Avenue, and Fox Street.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. Chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau.
Good morning, Council President, colleagues, and the public. I have one privileged resolution today with you as a prime co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the resolution, please.
A privileged resolution recognizing the month of May as Jewish American Heritage Month in the city of Philadelphia.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate.
Privileged resolution.
Sorry, this resolution will be placed on the day's final passage calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Ketty Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing today.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilman Jeffrey J. Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I have 4 bills.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bills.
An ordinance authorizing the revision of lines and grades on a portion of City Plan Number 120 by striking from the city plan and vacating Cleveland Street from Girard Avenue, northwardly to Style Street, and striking from the city plan and vacating Style Street from 18th Street westwardly to 19th Street under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance amending Title 12 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Traffic Code by amending Chapter 12-800 entitled Bicycle Regulations and Penalties to authorize the Department of Licenses and Inspections to establish an e-bike delivery license for persons who use pedal cycles with electric assist to perform commercial delivery services in the city and providing for license requirements, identification, enforcement, and penalties, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance amending Chapter 9-5100 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Food Delivery Services to require third-party food delivery services to register certain delivery workers who use bicycles or pedal cycles with electric assist and autonomous delivery units to perform deliveries in the city and to require related identification, record-keeping, reporting, and compliance measures and fees, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing and approving the execution and delivery of a service agreement between the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Municipal Authority relating to financing of the acquisition of 400 North Broad Street and 1501 Cowell Hill Street, together with certain ancillary property rights, which premises the city has subleased for use as the city's police headquarters and certain other uses, approving the issuance by the authority of bonds, notes, or other evidences of indebtedness, including reimbursement obligations related to lines or letters of credit, in one or more series to finance or refinance such acquisition costs, and authorizing and approving the obligation of the City of Philadelphia to pay in full when due the service fee and other amounts payable under the service agreement, and authorizing certain city officers to take certain actions required to issue such bonds, notes, or other evidences of indebtedness, covenanting that the City of Philadelphia will make necessary appropriations in each of the city's fiscal years to provide for and will make timely payments of the service fee and other amounts due under the service agreement, and authorizing and approving the Director of Finance of the city and other city officials to take other necessary or appropriate actions to effectuate the purpose of this ordinance, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. Chair recognizes Councilmember Jim Harity.
Thank you, Council President. I have no bills or resolutions today.
Thank you very much, sir. Chair recognizes Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 1 privileged resolution and I have 2 non-privileged resolutions today.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the resolutions.
A privileged resolution recognizing and celebrating Ben Fletcher, Philadelphia's revolutionary labor leader, and honoring Local 8, the 1913 Longshoremen Strike, and the city's Black-led tradition of multiracial solidarity in the fight for dignity and respect at work and in our communities.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution urging the Trump administration to remove Cuba from the list of state sponsors of terrorism and urging Congress to vote to end all economic sanctions against Cuba.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council.
And a non-privileged resolution calling on the Pennsylvania General Assembly to enact legislation that would allow local jurisdictions to adopt ranked choice voting.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council. Chair recognizes Councilmember Mike Driscoll.
Morning, Mr. President. I have 1 privilege resolution and 1 bill on your behalf.
Thank you very much, sir. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the bill and resolution?
An ordinance authorizing the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development to convey fee simple title to all or a portion of property known as 5501 Tacony Street for less than fair market value under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And a privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as Brain Tumor Awareness Month, raising awareness of the impact of brain tumors on individuals, families, and communities, and promoting education, research, and support for those affected.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar, and thank you for that resolution, Councilmember Mike Driscoll. Councilmember Brian O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no bills or resolutions.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Mark Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. All for 7 bills.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bills.
An ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to enter into a lease agreement, including a lease amendment for a portion of the premises at 1341 North Delaware Avenue for general office and administrative use by the city, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance amending Section 14-702 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Floor Area, Height, and Dwelling Unit Density Bonuses to clarify certain terms of Public Street Enhancement Bonus and make related technical changes under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to enter into a sublease agreement with the Philadelphia Municipal Authority for use by the city of a portion of the premises located at 701 Market Street, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing various encroachments in the vicinity of 1639 South 10th Street under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
An ordinance amending Section 9-208 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Sidewalk Cafes to revise remedies and provide for enforcement of sidewalk cafes provisions, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Kensington Avenue, Clearfield Street, Tulip Street, and Lehigh Avenue.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And an ordinance authorizing various encroachments in the vicinity of 2101 South 3rd Street under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer 1 privilege resolution and 1 bill on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the bill and resolution.
An ordinance amending Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Zoning and Planning to amend certain provisions of Chapter 14-500 entitled Overlay Zoning Districts by creating the West Chestnut Street Overlay District, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee.
And a privileged resolution honoring the life, legacy, and distinguished service of Detective Samuel P. Wyke Sr., who served on the 1st All-Black Detective Unit, the Dick Anderson Squad, in recognition of National Police Week 2026.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can we hold that over for next week, please?
Yes, we can hold it.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Nina Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. I'm introducing 4 privilege resolutions, 1 with Councilmember Gautier and 1 with Councilmember Bass.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the resolutions, please.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 to be American Stroke Month in Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as National Tennis Month.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development to hold public hearings on the process of starting a micro-business or pop-up shop in Philadelphia and on how the city can streamline that process so more micro-businesses grow into small businesses.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The next order of business is reports from committee. The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a report from the Committee on Rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee on Rules reports out 8 bills with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much. Chief Clerk, please read the report.
The Committee on Rules, to which were referred the following bills. Bill number 260212. An ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by McKinley Street, Leonard Street, Devereaux Avenue, and Bustleton Avenue. Bill number 260296. An ordinance to approve amendments to the University of Pennsylvania Master Plan in the area bounded by Walnut Street, 36th Street, Spruce Street, and 39th Street, related to the Class of 1920 Commons Building at 3800 Locust Walk, and the Stuart Weitzman Theater addition to the Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts, ACPA, at 3680 Walnut Street. Bill number 260297, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Spruce Street, 34th Street, Civic Center Boulevard, and University Avenue. Bill number 260301, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Milner Street, Cotman Avenue Extended, the Delaware River, Unruh Avenue Extended, Unruh Avenue, Wissanoming Street, and New State Road. Bill number 260302, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Lippincott Street, 20th Street, Toronto Street, and 22nd Street. Respectfully reports it has considered the same and returns the attached bills to council with a favorable recommendation. And Bill number 260238, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Ludlow Street, South 41st Street, West Girard Avenue, and North 48th Street. Bill number 260298, an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Ridge Avenue, Spring Lane, Hagee Mills Road, Port Royal Avenue, River Road, in the Montgomery County line. Bill number 260379, an ordinance amending section 14-500 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Overlay Zoning Districts by amending title 14-520 entitled 9th District Overlay District by making technical changes all under certain terms and conditions. Respectfully reports it has considered and amended the same and returns the attached bills to council with a favorable recommendation. There are no further bills to report out from the Committee on Rules, Council President.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes the chairwoman of the Rules Committee, Councilmember Cindy Bass, for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading this day of the bills just read into the record by the chief clerk, with the exception of bill number 260298, to be placed on the first reading calendar of our next session of council.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit the consideration of these bills just read by the chief clerk at today's session of council, with the exception of bill number 260298. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. These bills will be placed on our first reading calendar for today. Bill number 260298 will be placed on the first reading calendar for consideration at our next session of council. The next order of business is the consideration of the calendar. I note that the bills just reported from committees with the suspension of rules have been deemed to have had a first reading. These bills will be placed on a second reading and final passage calendar for the next session of council. As there are no additional bills on the first reading calendar, the chair recognizes Majority Leader Kathleen Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning resolutions on the final passage calendar and bills on the second reading and final passage calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following resolutions are being called up from the second reading from the final passage calendar, and the following bills are being called up from the second reading and final passage calendar today. Resolution numbers 260469 and 260480. The following resolutions and bills on the calendar are being held: 260481, 250768, 250807, and 260340. 260063 is being amended.
Before considering these resolutions and bills, we will consider public comment as follows. Your public comment must concern matters on the second reading and final passage calendar. For possible action at today's council sessions, all speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up for today's council session, please do so now by giving your name to Ms. Hassan outside the table, outside the rails, to my left, sitting at the table. Once you have signed up, you will be called in the order in which your name appears on the sign-up sheet. Under ideal circumstances, public commenters each will have 3 minutes to speak. However, this time limit may vary from session to session. The time limit today will be 2 minutes. In order to be fair to all those wishing to speak, I intend to hold faithfully to the 2-minute limit. When you begin speaking, you will see a green light on the podium. When there are 30 seconds remaining to your time, the light will turn yellow, which is your reminder to conclude your remarks. Once 2 minutes have passed, the light will turn red, and the sergeant at arms will disconnect the microphone. At that time, please yield the podium to the next speaker if you have not already done so. I also reserve the right pursuant to our rules of City Council to limit repetitious comments on the same subject matter. I will now ask the Chief Clerk to please read the name of our first speaker.
Will Reverend Gregory Holston, Lynn Landis, Jeremy Blattstein, Adriana George, Raheem Douglas, David Alexander Jenkins, and Tavion Mitchell please make your way to the podium?
My name is Reverend Gregory Holston. I'm here on behalf of Just Nation and the Philly Worker Project, these incredible young black organization in the city of Philadelphia. If you're wondering where young black progressive organizers are, look right here at the Philly Worker Project. That's where you'll see them at. And I'm here on the resolution regarding Ben Fletcher. Ben Fletcher was born here in Philadelphia in 1890 and worked the docks as a longshoreman during one of the most racist, exploitative periods in American history. Black workers were shut out of many unions. Immigrant workers were pitted against black workers. Employers used racism and division to keep workers powerless. But Fletcher helped build something revolutionary. Through local aid of the industrial workers of the world, black workers, Irish workers, immigrants, and poor workers came together in one multiracial union in the Philadelphia waterfront in 1913. At the height, local aid transformed the docks and became one of the most powerful interracial labor movements in American history. And because of that, Ben Fletcher was attacked. He was surveilled, he was arrested, he was imprisoned by federal government during the Red Scare and World War I crackdowns against labor organizations. His crime was believing that working people deserved dignity and that black and white workers together had real power. That's a legacy that's not just history, it's a mirror. Today in Philadelphia, thousands of workers still labor under precarious conditions, especially temp workers, domestic workers, low-wage subcontracted workers, non-unionized workers. Many are black and brown, many are justice impacted, many perform some of the hardest and most dangerous work in this city while being treated as disposable. But just like the longshoremen of 1913, the workers today are organizing. Through the efforts of All Due Respect campaign, workers are demanding the same things Ben Fletcher fought for 100 years ago: fair wages, safe working conditions, stability, dignity, and respect. And here's the deeper challenge for us. We honor people over and over about what they've done in the past, and then we don't do what they lived to do in that past in the present. We come here and we share the wonderful stories about what they did, but then we end up putting the same laws in place that continue to oppress and exploit people over and over again. It is time for us to stand up and live true to who we are honoring today in so many different ways. Let's pass the kind of legislation that will end these low wages, that will give people the dignity and respect that they deserve, so we can build the beloved community for everyone. This is what these young organizers are coming together to do. They're trying to build it. Let's build it with them today. Thank you so very much.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Landis of Philly's Republican Network. I'm opposed to Bill 250807 because Center City District, a quasi-nonprofit organization that is allowed to tax and condemn property, is not required to hold public meetings nor accept public comments. And that's not fair nor perhaps legal. Meanwhile, City Council, its subcommittees, and city departments are restricting public comments to agenda items only, which is definitely in violation of the spirit and intent of the Sunshine Act. City Council also believes that by passing a self-serving resolution at the beginning of its Thursday meetings, that it is then has complete freedom to add innumerable bills and resolutions to the agenda, and Council even votes on them at the same meeting at times, thereby denying the public the time necessary to prepare thoughtful public comments, which is another violation of the Sunshine Act. Making matters worse, many of City Council's committees do not have regular monthly meetings, which also denies the public the opportunity to speak and share important information in a timely manner, while some city departments don't hold public meetings at all. As the Democratic Party has made "No Kings" its unofficial motto, that hasn't stopped their elected officials in Philadelphia from acting like kings themselves, as they have for decades, systematically and comprehensively censored and restricted our right to free speech. As we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, it is past time for City Council and city officials to finally end this undeniable injustice and bring back free speech to Philadelphia. Thank you.
Hello, City Council President. My name is Jeremy Blatstein. Thank you, Councilwoman Landau, for your resolution today for Jewish American History Month. It's important today than ever to fight anti-Semitism and recognize your Jewish brothers and sisters. So thank you for introducing that resolution today. Next, I know last week you guys talked about Inquirer articles. I was wondering or hoping you guys read the Inquirer this past week regarding the sheriff's office, right? So regarding that testimony that happened during your budget hearing.
Hey, Jerry.
Yes,
could
sir.
you speak on supporting the proposed Sam Worley Elderly Tax
Oh,
Relief
yeah, I'll
Act,
get
if
there.
you don't
Yes, sir.
mind?
Of course.
If you don't mind.
I was going to also speak on the other resolutions that got introduced today, right?
Sure.
And then we're talking about affordability, right? That is really important to protect our seniors. There's city programs already in place to protect longtime seniors in our communities. I think we need to do a better job, as has been mentioned in the past, of getting that information out there to our seniors so they can utilize that information. The other thing we need to kind of talk about when it comes to affordability, right, is obviously Turn the Key, and the information that's out there on Turn the Key is that the housing prices in these neighborhoods that Turn the Key is going into is above the $280,000 sale price, right? So if we really want to try to help stabilize and allow hard-working Philadelphia residents move into and stay in these neighborhoods, Turn the Key is the option, right? Because if you look at the average sale price in these neighborhoods, it's $400,000, $500,000. Turn the Key is $280,000, and that will really help hardworking Philadelphia residents move into these homes. And last but not least, we're talking about two things, right? One, shout out to our mayor and our state senator, Sharif Street. They were riding the ride this morning. I don't know if you guys caught that. They were handing out some flyers for the election on Tuesday, obviously, but yeah, our mayor and our state senator were riding the ride. And the lovely State Senator Kim Ward was here yesterday with Scott Sauer, and Scott Sauer was showing her the system of the improvement of our fare gates to improve our system to fund SEPTA. Ride the ride, grow Philly to 2 million. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adriana, and I'm here on behalf of the National Domestic Workers Alliance in strong support of this resolution honoring the life and legacy of Ben Fletcher and recognizing the month of May as a month to recognize the contributions of workers fighting for dignity and respect at work. Ben Fletcher's leadership in Local 8 of the industrial workers of the world showed us what it means to organize workers who are pushed to the margins. At a time when Black workers, immigrants, and other marginalized workers were excluded from most unions, Fletcher and his fellow longshoremen built something different, a multiracial, multi-led movement rooted in dignity, solidarity, and collective power. That is not just history, it is a mirror. Today in Philadelphia, thousands of workers labor under similar precarious conditions, especially marginalized workers like temp workers, domestic workers, and non-unionized workers. Temp workers specifically are often Black and brown, disproportionately, justice impacted, and employed through staffing agency that deny them stability, fair wages, and basic protections. They are expected to do some of the hardest and most dangerous work in our city, yet are treated as disposable. Like the longshoremen of 1930, temp workers are organizing. Through efforts like the All Due Respect campaign, workers are coming together to demand what Fletcher and local aid fought for over a century ago. This resolution matters because it connects past to present. It affirms that the fight against exploitation and racial injustice in the workplace is ongoing, and it sends a clear message that this council recognizes the importance of worker leading organizing in Philadelphia. With all due respect, Black workers in this city deserve better.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Good morning, Council President and Council members. My name is Brahim Douglas. I'm the Vice President of Unite Here Local 274, and Unite Here Philly proudly supports with the Philly Black Worker Project on the resolution in honoring the life and legacy of Ben Fletcher. What can we say about Ben Fletcher? We can say plenty. He came at a time when, as a Black man with opinions, organizing was almost illegal. And he was pushing for the working rights of Black people and immigrant workers. He was a dock worker at Local 8, and if you didn't know, was right here, born and raised right here in Philadelphia. That's what makes this thing so special. Ben Fletcher was leading a strike at a time when most unions didn't accept Black members. Let's let that sink in for a second. He led integrated strikes, showing the true power of solidarity. With this type of union power, you can only imagine what Ben had to deal with. In 1917, the U.S. charged Ben Fletcher with sedition in World War I. The industrial workers of the world opposed the war and capitalism. With Ben Fletcher's leadership, they were gaining too much power. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. They wanted to kill the movement. Then, much like what they want to do with the Voters' Right Act now. So Ben Fletcher served his time and still came out 10 toes down on those same beliefs and went to prison with. He organized even after his time in prison, never folded. He was a strong union leader, a Black radical that saw the system for what it was and wasn't afraid to challenge it. The Philly Black Worker Project is carrying those same principles through the lens of one Ben Fletcher. Black folks have been organizing and demanding a seat at the table. Ben Fletcher was at the center of Black labor history, proving that solidarity only truly works when we all have a seat at the table. This is absolutely with what the All Due Respect campaign is doing, creating those seats at the table for working rights and creating better standards for temp workers. With all due respect, let's honor the great Ben Fletcher. Thank you.
Will Gabrielle Ballard, Rabbi Lizzie Horn Moses, Giovanni Newton, Shalia Williams, Everett Shaw, and Vanessa Mayers please make your way to the podium?
Madam Chair, members and guests, David Alexander Jenkins, and my patronage of the arts is no secret in this chamber. But this morning, as I was reminded of one of the most quintessentially important narratives as art I think the city beholds, it is a relatively uncelebrated work tucked away in the shadows of 12th Street between a garage and the convention center, high and lofty, busy at work, holding up a pedestrian bridge. It is there that I would like to rest your minds for just a moment, if you would indulge me. Contrafuerte by Miguel Antonio Horn depicts the struggle of man collaboratively to support the human bridge betwixt two edifices. Resolution 260481, as presented by Member Bass, asks this body to be the bridge that makes art equitable and accessible. It asks specifically the body to grant the connection point that bridges the cultural and creative divide. To me, this resolution sings to the very fiber of our essence, our primal purpose in life, which if expressed dimly can seem rather inconsequential. That is not to say that we have only been a dash, the connection point between two moments in time, past and present. If we, however, truly understand our purpose, brothers and sisters of love, that we are the reflection of that all changes, it seems. Life is the bridge betwixt them thus. Biblically, Brother O'Rourke, if inclined, help me out here. We who are created in the image of the divine can call ourselves I am. I am the struggle. I am the bridge. I am the problem to be solved. I am its solution. I am because I am saith I am. And so too are you. We, am, the bridge our children get to traverse when I think should be expressed through art. Art is not merely decoration, it is civic architecture. Art teaches us how to understand ourselves and others. Therefore, public investment in equitable access to art is an investment in the human development. I am pro this measure, Madam Bass, and I beg council to pass it today.
Good morning, council members. My name is Tavion. I'm both a worker and entrepreneur here in Philadelphia, navigating the reality so many of us face. Working hard, trying to build something of our own, but still struggling to survive in an economy that makes living every day seem harder and harder. Today I'm here with the Black Worker Project to advocate for the month of May to be a commemorative month for the ongoing work for dignity, respect, and safety in the workplace. Workers have been leading this fight together through movements all over the United States, from the Washington Women of 1881 in Atlanta to Ben Fletcher's impact and the local aids here in Philadelphia. These movements not only show us change is possible, but it gives the building blocks to create it. Today we're fighting many of those same battles. Thousands of workers and citizens continue to face mistreatment because of their position, background, and circumstances, including immigrant workers, gig workers, and formerly incarcerated people and women. Too often, the people that we rely on the most are the same people being underpaid, overlooked, and denied fair opportunities. No one working a full-time job should still struggle to survive because their job fails to meet their basic needs. Over a century ago, the industrial workers of the world brought attention to these issues, and ever since, worker-led organizations like ours have continued supporting communities where systems and workplaces have excluded, denied, and oppressed marginalized groups. There should not be a debate whether our accepted workers deserve fair pay when the majority of us use them to get to work, our kids rely on them to get to school. There shouldn't be a debate between District 7 getting a raise when it only took a week for everybody to feel the absence of their work. The model for the industrial workers of the world is an injury to one is an injury to all. I believe the city of brotherly love and this council, we can resonate with that. Not only, I believe that this council can resonate with that message while still staying true to the values our city represents. This resolution matters because it recognizes and supports the foundation of our society, our workers. It acknowledges workers' needs while aligning with the values of this city. We are workers supporting workers because we know how it feels to be unappreciated. Stand with us, support the All Due Respect campaign, help continue the legacy that this city is and the people work to uphold every day. With all due respect, you deserve. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Gabrielle Ballard, and I'm an organizer with the Philly Black Worker Project. I'm here today in strong support of this resolution honoring the legacy of Ben Fletcher. The power, strategy, and coordination exercised under Ben Fletcher's leadership as a labor organizer, along with his fellow longshoremen, meant the ports here in Philly were essentially controlled by a multinational organization of working class people for over 10 years. My uncles and cousins work at the ports, so the pride and joy of Ben Fletcher's story honestly feels like a family win. My first union fight was at a prestigious university and unfortunately was not successful. I worked alongside administrative workers and temp workers who were disrespected and even attacked by our bosses. We struggled for almost 4 years to bring workers together across different backgrounds, and I'm sad to say that we didn't win that fight. So I know a little something about losing. We lost that fight, and it feels like we keep losing more and more. My friends count among the hundreds of thousands of Black women who have lost jobs and fought to keep our children fed and a roof over our heads. We lose our homes to developers. We lose when these racist corporations fire our people, steal our wages, and violate our safety. We have lost so much, and with all due respect, we deserve better. This resolution is part of a movement to reinvigorate the legacy of Ben Fletcher. It takes guts to organize over 4,000 people from all different nationalities into one union, especially in such a racist society. With our members, alongside Black, temp, and formerly incarcerated workers, the All Dues Respect campaign is actively rebuilding the leadership needed to win in the ongoing fight against exploitation and racial injustice. We are walking in the footsteps of Ben Fletcher to build a more just Philadelphia, and we ask you to join us on this path. We strongly urge you to adopt this resolution.
Okay. Good morning, council members. I'm Rabbi Lizzie Horn Moses from Kol Tzedek Synagogue in West Philadelphia, and I'm grateful to Council Member Rue Landau for introducing a resolution this morning recognizing Jewish American Heritage Month. Jewish American Heritage Month is, of course, an opportunity to celebrate Jewish history and past contributions to public life. But Jewish tradition has never asked us exclusively to look to the past. It asks us to consider the kind of society that we are building together now. There's a line in Pirkei Avot, an ancient collection of rabbinic teachings, that says, "You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it." For many Jews in Philadelphia, that teaching is not theoretical. It shapes how we move through public life in this city. And at communities like mine, where many members, Councilmember Landau included, are organizers, educators, artists, caregivers, and advocates, Jewish life is inseparable from protecting human dignity and building shared life together. That's why we organize around affordable housing and food access, why we show up for immigrants and asylum seekers, why we understand public transit, public schools, libraries, parks, and social services as reflections of whether a city believes people deserve care, access, and belonging. Philadelphia's Jewish community is diverse in every sense, religiously, racially, culturally, politically. And Philadelphia is also the birthplace of Reconstructionist Judaism, the movement I belong to, which teaches that Judaism is not only practiced privately, but lived collectively through shared responsibility and communal life. At a moment when every community is being pushed toward fear and separation, this month matters because Jewish safety and flourishing have never come from isolation. They depend on strong public life and on the understanding that our futures are bound together. Jewish tradition teaches that dignity and safety cannot belong only to some of us. If they are not built collectively, they remain fragile for everyone. So I'm grateful for this resolution and for the chance to say clearly that Jewish heritage is not something we honor in retrospect. It is something we are called to practice today in public life, in relationship to our neighbors, and the ongoing work of shaping this city.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Giovanni Asante Newton. I am one of the newest members of the fine organization called Flip Philly Red. Resolution number 260480. The reason I oppose to that resolution is that not every senior would automatically qualify. The actual legislation would likely include requirements such as minimum age, years of home ownership, income limits, and primary residence rules. I also disagree with this resolution is that if tax revenue drops without replacement funding from Pennsylvania, governments may face budget pressure. If seniors are exempted, other taxpayers could eventually face higher taxes, reduced services, or new funding mechanism. The proposal mainly helps homeowners, not seniors who rent. Some critics might argue it favors one group while younger homeowners and renters continue paying full taxes. So the biggest question would be for me, how Pennsylvania replaces the lost local tax revenue if the law is enacted. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Shalia Williams Allen, and I'm here in support of the resolution honoring Ben Fletcher and the legacy of Local 8. Over a century ago, Ben Fletcher helped lead a movement that proved something radical for its time, that Black workers, immigrant workers, and so-called unskilled workers all deserve dignity, fair wages, and respect. At a time when many unions excluded Black workers, Local 8 built a real multiracial solidarity and showed what's possible when workers stand together. That legacy is not just history, it's still urgent today. Through the Philly Black Worker Project's All Dues Respect campaign, we are continuing that fight by demanding dignity, safety, and fair treatment for Black workers right here in Philadelphia. Because the truth is, too many workers are still being denied the very respect Fletcher fought for. And for me, this is very personal. I'm a social worker, and every day I work with families and workers who are trying their best to survive systems that too often fail them. That's why I'm a part of this work, because I've seen firsthand how employment instability, discrimination, and economic injustice impact entire families and communities. My husband served as a shop steward for his union and was just recently unjustly terminated from his job. Watching someone who advocated for workers and stood up for fairness lose his livelihood reminded me that even today, workers can face retaliation simply for speaking up and demanding dignity on the job. My brother is a formerly incarcerated worker. Since coming home, he's done everything right, trying to rebuild his life, find stable work, and move forward. But the barriers he faces every day, from limited job opportunities to being treated as disposable, show how far we still have to go. What Fletcher and Local 8 understood is that dignity at work should not be conditional. And remember, an injury to one is still an injury to all. By passing this resolution, you are not just honoring history, you are affirming that Philadelphia is committed to building an economy where all workers, including Black workers, temp workers, and formerly incarcerated workers, are treated with dignity and respect. Show your support and solidarity today. Support the All Dues Respect campaign, and I urge you to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Will Amy Federer, Shameen Scott, Sterling Johnson, Julie Platt, Crystal Canty, Khalib Thompson, and Georgiana Greenwald please make your way to the podium?
Good morning, Amy Federer. Good morning, esteemed council members. My name is Amy Federer, and I'm here with Shameen Scott. And we are here on behalf of NAMI Philadelphia, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, where we offer free education, support, advocacy for anyone impacted by mental illness and or their loved ones. We are proud to support the resolution recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Philadelphia. This resolution does something incredibly important. It solidifies the city's commitment to accessible mental health treatments. Mental health is wealth. It shapes how we think, how we feel, how we connect with one another, and how we move through our daily lives. Yet, too many Philadelphians are still forced to navigate that reality in silence. Every day at NAMI Philadelphia, we meet people who are doing everything they can to get well. Parents trying to support their children, young people facing anxiety and depression, older adults dealing with isolation, communities who have been historically excluded from care. That is why this resolution matters. It sends a message that Philadelphia is a city where mental health can be talked about openly and safely, where seeking help is a sign of strength, and where recovery is possible. But awareness alone is not enough. It must lead to action. That means continued investment in community-based services, stronger connections to care, and policies that reflect the needs of our neighborhoods. We thank Councilmember Ahmed and the broader City Council as a whole for the leadership and gracious acknowledgement. Thank you.
All right. My name is Sterling Johnson, and I'm with Active Philadelphia.
I'm here to support Resolution 260480. It is to support just the idea that people that are working age and that are seniors are usually the ones becoming homeless. Nowadays, we have to understand that. People in their 50s and 60s, they're suffering from this economy. Those people are not really taken into account when we're talking about homelessness. I will say, I want to thank Councilman Gautier for staying with us with the townhomes, and we see that that is going forward, but there's still some problems with what I'm seeing. On the street, especially at this one place called Camp Chloe in South Philly, those people have owned homes, they've raised children, they've worked their bodies to the bone. They're not there because they want to be, they're there because that's the only choice they have. Cities only offered a shelter bed, and they just keep saying shelter bed, shelter bed. In fact, then they stopped saying that and they said now a solution, though, but if it's in a congregate housing situation where you're just sharing a cot next to a person or a bed next to 3 other people, that's still a shelter. Just because you rebrand it doesn't mean it's different. And these people are disabled. I will say I was born disabled, and and that's the thing, but I will say people I'm meeting, it's like they're physically disabled because they worked their whole damn lives. They worked, and when they come out of it, they got sick, or they lost their home, or they just can't find a job for any reason. And now they're waiting for disability, waiting for a housing voucher. And what we found is that honestly, people are waiting in that Social Security line to die. If anything, they need income support, they need bridge assistance. We've seen other places where there's a way for people to get access to resources while they're waiting for Social Security. What we've seen is the people at Camp Chloe, they've been really fighting for their space. And even among a space where people have been against them, Councilman Squilla was against them. He said that they were a nuisance around there, but no, they've been taking care of their community, And they aren't a nuisance just because you say it. It's just really important to know that those people are waiting to be a part of their community, and they're not going to let anybody get in the way. They're not going to die either, They're not going to die just like you want them to.
Hi, my name is Julie Platt, and wanted to thank members of City Council for their support of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. I am the Director of Policy and External Affairs for Mental Health Partnerships, and as we know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the need has never been more urgent. 1 in 5 adults experience a mental health condition each year, and in our city, that reality shows up in our emergency rooms, our schools, and our streets. For 75 years, Mental Health Partnerships has stood along individuals and families navigating their most difficult moments, and that legacy is proof that community-based services work when we commit to it. A cornerstone of that work is our certified peer specialists. These are credentialed professionals who draw on their own lived experiences in recovery to help others heal. They build trust where systems have fallen short, and they are among the most effective tools we have. Investing in this workforce is investing in outcomes. I asked this council to make mental health a year-round priority through sustained investment in community-based services, especially the peer specialist workforce development and real crisis alternatives. After 75 years, Mental Health Partnerships has been the City of Philadelphia's partner, and we will continue to be so for another 75 years. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Crystal Canty. I was here to support Councilman Young's act for the elderly. But after hearing this gentleman and his concerns, I need to read a little bit more into it. I'm a person who serviced elderly for 27 years, and I just want to read a little bit. I'm here today because on January 31st, my property at 4131 North Broad Street, Huntington Park section of Philadelphia, known as the Purple House, the Queens Towers, caught fire. During the tragic event, my fire alarm system notified all residents that there was a fire inside the building. Sadly, due to the incident, one of my elderly clients lost their lives. Before I ever had the opportunity to fully process what happened, the city demolished my building in 2 days. I stand here not just a property owner, but as a human being who experienced trauma, loss, emotional distress, and financial devastation all at once. I understand that the public safety matters. I understand the city has a responsibility after a fire, but I also believe the property owners deserve due process, communication, transparency, and respect before life-changing decisions are made. My building represents years of hard work, sacrifice, investment, future opportunity, and the demolishment affected my livelihood, my financial stability, and my ability to rebuild. I've spent 27 years caring for elderly people in this city. Since 1999, I was 19 years old when I started. My work has been helping vulnerable people live with dignity, care, and support. So I stand here asking to rebuild. This is not just a building to me, it is also a purpose, stability, community, and continuing to serve people who need help. What happened to my building is bigger than one property. And in Philadelphia, many people already are unheard. Families are worried about schools closing, elderly residents are struggling with homelessness, raising prices, and instability. Communities want safety, fairness, and investments that they can trust. Give me a second. That is why what happened to me matters. When a city demolishes a person's property, almost immediately after tragedy without making people feel properly informed, supported, or included in the process, it damages the public trust even more.
Please conclude your remarks.
I want my building back. It was $1.3 million, and your code enforcement guy tore down my building without proper due process. And I'm here to tell the world that you really don't care about homelessness, you don't care about elderly people, and you don't care about children, or 17 schools would not be shutting down today.
Ma'am, I'm going to respectfully...
I will be back.
Ma'am, thank you. One moment. I am going to ask if someone from the team can just get her contact information so that they can follow up with her. I'm going to ask if someone from the team can get her information so that someone can follow up with her. But I have to keep it fair for public comment. Thank you.
Will Kwame Achingpong, Eileen Ann Chavez, LaShawn Bradwell, Terrence Bell, Erica Richardson, Ronald Reed, Wayne Gainey, and Chevelle Higgs, please make your way to the podium.
Good morning, council members. My name is Caleb Thompson, and I'm a 7th grader at McCall School. I'm here today in support of the resolution recognizing May as Brain Tumor Awareness Month. In April of 2020, I was diagnosed with medulloblastoma, a type of brain cancer. I had surgery, 6 weeks of radiation, and then chemotherapy. I finished treatment at CHOP in December of 2020. With a brain tumor, finishing treatment doesn't mean that I'm done with doctor's visits or medication. That's because most brain tumor treatments, especially for kids, leave long-term effects on hormones, kidney function, and more. Brain tumor awareness is important because it helps people understand that more research and better treatments are still needed. Thank you for helping raise awareness in Philly.
Good morning, council members. I'm here today. My name is Jordana Greenwald, and I'm here today in my most important job, which is as Caleb's mom. I'm here to support him and his work as an advocate for children with brain tumors, and to support the resolution recognizing Brain Tumor Awareness Month. He has been working really hard to advocate. He's traveled to DC to visit with our elected representatives there, since they hold so much of the power over whether funding continues for important research initiatives, many of them happening right here in Philadelphia, that can help improve the treatment options for kids and adults with brain tumors. Because whether it's recognized or not, and brain tumors don't do as great a job of marketing as some other cancer causes, whether it's recognized or not, brain tumors continue to affect both kids and adults at incredible rates. Brain tumors are now the leading cause of cancer-related death in children, and about 40,000 kids are currently out there right now living with brain or central nervous system tumors. And one of the really important things for us to keep in mind as a family impacted by a brain tumor is that we are very privileged. We are privileged to live here in Philadelphia, where we have access to top medical institutions and excellent care. We're privileged to have a kid who came out of treatment relatively healthy and continuing to be an active part of his community. We're privileged that we both have jobs that provide health insurance, and privileged to live in a state like Pennsylvania that provides Medicaid for children facing brain tumor diagnosis that cover the gaps that inevitably arise in that insurance. But we also recognize that the same disparities face families facing a brain tumor diagnosis all over this country as we see elsewhere in healthcare, based on race, based on economic status, and a lot of the times just based on where they happen to live. So we thank you for raising awareness here in Philadelphia and across the United States for brain tumors. Thank you very much.
You have 2 minutes. State your name for the record, please.
Good morning, council members. My name is Kwame Achampong, and I'm an organizer with the Philly Black Worker Project. I'm here in strong support of this resolution honoring the life and legacy of Ben Fletcher. The legacy of Ben Fletcher is a shining example of what it means to build worker power. As a longshoreman here in Philadelphia, Fletcher co-founded Local 8 of the Marine Transport Workers Industrial Union in 1913. This powerful Black-led longshoremen's union controlled Philadelphia's waterfront for a decade while fighting for the immediate needs for workers and advocating for working class solidarity. The fight to improve the lives of workers still continues, and that fight is happening in the temp industry. I've spent a decade of my life working for various temp and staffing agencies. I have done work that has had me in various environments, from planting seeds in fields during sweltering heat, handling hazardous chemicals in factories, and working with technology in the offices of some of the largest corporations in the United States. What remained the same with each job was the exploitation that my fellow Black and marginalized workers were subjected to. We have seen wage theft, a lack of concern for our physical well-being, and no pathway to full-time work to escape the trap of moving from one temp job to another. We deserve more. With all due respect, we deserve better. Through our All Due Respect campaign, we intend to continue the legacy of Ben Fletcher by building worker power in the temp industry, much like how Fletcher built worker power among a multicultural workforce of longshoremen. This resolution is the start of that work. We want the city to recognize a legacy that showed with determination and an organized coalition of workers, we can put the ability to change the conditions of harmful workplaces directly in the hands of the people. We urge you to follow us in our fight for a more just city. We strongly urge you to adopt this resolution because, again, with all due respect, we deserve better. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Eileen Ann Chavez. I'm here today to talk about the problems of the elderly. Expecting the elderly to pay property tax is unbelievable. A lot of elderly people have problems just paying their mortgage and buying food. And I should know, and getting a decent place to live. Because right now, I'm elderly, and I'm living in a rooming house with my German Shepherd dog and 2 cats, and I rent from this kind woman, Crystal Candy. Now, Crystal Candy is a very wonderful person. She lets me live there. I used to pay $600 a month for rent, but what she has done, she lowered my rent to $400. And she's the only person that would rent to me. I've been trying over and over and over to get a place to live. I've tried to get affordable housing, but there's none. All they give me is waiting lists. I'm going to be 73 years old. 73 in September. And I might be dead in 10 years, in 5 years. And I can't even get a decent place to live. I'm stuck in a little room, but thanks to God, to Crystal Candy, she allows me to live there and pay $400 to rent. Doesn't cover all my bills. I have a lot of bills, pets to take care of, but she helps me. I was sick, and I didn't have enough money for food. She came over last summer to feel my forehead. She thought I had a fever. She was so worried. That was at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then just recently, past month, I didn't have enough to cover me for the rest of the month for food. She bought me homemade meals and paid meals and got takeout meals for me. I'm in a situation where I'm trying my best to get a place to live, a better place to live for my family, my pet family. I need a yard. I just need a place to live and get into some affordable housing. My income's only $1,000 a month, and I can't get any place to live. And I'm just stuck in a rooming house. But thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for allowing me to talk. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless you.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how is everyone? Okay. Hi, how is everyone? So I kind of didn't really come up here with anything. I didn't come up here with no paper, nothing, just right off the mind. This might be a little bit different for everyone, but I just wanted to plant that seed, I guess, in a way, of just like mental health, like conquering your mind and...
Sir, I apologize for the interruption. May you state your name for the record, please?
LaShawn Bradwell.
Thank you, dear.
And what I mean by conquering your mind is just, it's way more than that. It's very broad, it's just emotions and vibrations and energy. I mean, I can't really say too much because of the elites in the room, but to a certain degree, I mean, some people in here already know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of power. Like, we're very divine people, especially the people that, got my skin color, that, go through the same things, all of that. Like, really, you need to, like, search and, like, really dig deep into yourself and figure out, like, the divine spiritual gifts that God has given you, Jesus Christ, Jehovah Christ, that he's giving you. Because we are very, very, very strong people. And I mean, at the end of the day, all of this is just a mindset thing. Like, they're going to continue to keep having us on like a survival mindset. We're going to keep trying to fight. These people is not going to care. Like, it's all like a agenda, matrix, all of that. So just, it's all self-mastery. Like, once you recognize that it's all really just internal, just the self, like, you'll find that's where the happiness is at. That's where the peace is at. The peace is not in the material. The peace is not in none of that. When you get older, when you get in that deathbed, you'll recognize. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry. Thank you. Val, you have 2 minutes. State your name for the record, please.
Good afternoon, council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Terrence Bell. I'm here with my family, the Black Workers Project. In strong support of the resolution honoring Ben Fletcher, we recognize the ongoing fight for dignity and respect at work. Ben Fletcher, a local 8 of the industrial worker of the world, showed us that when workers, especially black, brown, and marginalized workers, stand together, we can build power and demand change. But today, temp workers like me still face the same struggles. For 10 months, I worked through First Step staffing at a place like Manheim Auto Auction, Renew Laboratory, and Subaru Park. At every site, we were denied basic gear for dangerous weather, paid less than full-time workers, and doing the same hard labor and given no path to stable jobs. They even stole our wages by not paying for all the hours we worked. I put up with it because after 20 years in prison, work is how I stay focused. But when my coworkers was injured in a First Step van with faulty brakes, a van we had warned them about, I knew I had to speak up. Enough is enough. The solution is clear. Temp workers deserve fair pay, safe conditions, and respect. That's why we organized through the All Due Respect campaign, just like Fletcher and Local 8 did over a century ago. We provided that the people closest to the problem are closest to the solution. The solution connects past to present. It affirms that the fight for justice in the workplace is far from over. We urge you to please, please pass the Ben Fletcher resolution and stand with us like the Philly Black Workers Project who are continuing this legacy. With all due respect,
Good morning. My name is Erica Richardson, Executive Director of the Black Hawks Athletic Club. Black Hawks, stand up there. It's your time to shine. Let's go. Black Hawks is a youth football local program located at 11th and Cecil B. Moore. We're celebrating 58 years. It's been established in 1968 as a way to get young black men off the streets during the height of the gang war era. We're still standing strong today. We have over 300 kids yearly, over 80 coaches and volunteers and parents and teen moms. We're a family-oriented program, and we're happy that you invited us here today to celebrate us. We appreciate it. We have brought many city championships, many local championships, and many national championships. But our goal is to keep young black men off the streets, keep them from out of this YN era or whatever you guys call it these days. And it's our job down there to make sure we keep them active in sports as a tool to keep them to be productive citizens in times to come. I want to turn it over to Coach Ronnie Flowers, who is the national championship coach of the 2025 football team for Blackhawks. Blackhawks, y'all up there, stand up.
Thank you. The standing ovation is very heartfelt, very warming.
I apologize. I didn't hear your name.
My name is Ronald Flowers Reed, head
Thank
coach
you.
of the Philadelphia Blackhawks. I appreciate everything. The boys deserve everything that they're given. They did an amazing job on and off the field. Not only on the field did they reach the pinnacle of being national championships, but they did it in the classroom also. So please give them a round of applause for doing it in the classroom. Last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to the parental support. Without the parents, man, we couldn't have did it. They stood by us. They watched us work hard, and without them, we couldn't reach the levels we reached without the parental support and my coaching staff. So again, thank you for everything. Thanks for having us, and I appreciate everything.
Thank you. Let's go, Blackhawks.
Will Betty Jake Zychik, Melba Terrell, William Small, Abona Hagans, and Antoni Matt please make your way to the podium.
Good morning, Philadelphia City Council members. My name is Ren Gainey, and I'm here in strong support of the resolution authorizing a hearing on green stormwater infrastructure, or GSI, in Philadelphia. As the advocacy manager for Penn Future, I work to advance the quality of life for Philadelphians, especially when it comes to ensuring healthy, clean, and resilient water systems. I want to especially thank Councilmember Gaudier for introducing this legislation and for her steadfast leadership on water issues, including the essential role of GSI. GSI uses nature-based designs like trees, plants, and green spaces that naturally soak up our rainwater and keep pollutants out of our waterways. It reduces sewage overflows during storms, protects rivers, cools our neighborhoods, and strengthens communities. Along with Green City Clean Waters, GSI targets other city goals, such as the Philly Tree Plan and the Climate Action Plan. To get the full benefits of green solutions, we have to expand our nature-based designs in new areas across our city. It needs to be easier for private property owners to install these GSI projects and ensure steady funding so they can experience the value of environmental practices. PWD has made strong progress with GSI on our public lands, but the next big opportunity to expand these green solutions is on the city's commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. Additionally, private land exists in all of our neighborhoods, including communities that have historically been left out of environmental investments. This is not just about greening our city, it's also about equitable access to those green spaces. This resolution will open the door to a much-needed hearing on Philly's progress in nature-based designs and the opportunities ahead for expanding this work. I ask and thank you in the support of this adoption for the resolution so we may continue the conversation on safeguarding our city's water future. On behalf of Penn Future, thank you all for your time, and thank you again to Councilmember Gautier for her championship.
Good morning, Council President and Philadelphia Council members. My name is Chevelle Higgs, and I'm here with my colleague Ren as the Philadelphia Civic Engagement Coordinator for Penn Future. I'm proud to stand in strong support of the resolution on green stormwater infrastructure as I ask you to vote yes for its passage. Thank you to Councilmember Gautier for her advocacy and commitment to protecting Philadelphia's environment. It's an honor to speak on behalf of Penn Future today. Stormwater runoff in our city doesn't just disappear. It sweeps up pollutants, overwhelms our aging combined sewer system, and sends untreated sewage straight into our rivers and creeks. Green stormwater infrastructure, such as rain gardens, green roofs, and stormwater planters, keep that pollution out of our waterways by capturing and filtering stormwater before it reaches the drain. These tools improve water quality, protect public health, and improve safe access to our rivers. This legislation also opens the door to a critical conversation about how GSI can deliver clean water solutions that are affordable and don't place additional burdens on ratepayers. As Civic Engagement Coordinator, I see every day how environmental burdens fall hardest on Philadelphia's neighborhoods. Residents tell me about how the air they breathe, the extreme heat they endure, and the flooding and sewage overflows they face, conditions they did nothing to create. This legislation sends a clear message. Their city leaders see them, hear them, and are taking action. In Philadelphia, GSI doesn't just manage stormwaters, it cools our blocks, greens our neighborhoods, improves public health, and strengthens our climate resistance. The Green City Clean Waters program has already shown vegetated GSI is a smart long-term solution and investment that delivers for both our environment and our communities, and we need to keep that momentum going. On behalf of the neighbors I've spoken with across the city, I say thank you to Councilmember Gautier for your leadership, and thank you to all members for voting yes on the resolution.
Good morning, council members. Hi, my name is Betty Lynn, and I am involved with the Water Center at Penn and the Hawthorne Community's greening efforts within the Hawthorne Empowerment Coalition and the Friends of Hawthorne Park group. I want to first say thank you for the opportunity to speak here, and I also want to thank Councilmember Gautier for introducing the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Resolution. I'm here today to support the resolution and the continued investment for green stormwater infrastructure. I've seen how these GSI projects can do a lot more than just manage stormwater. They can improve public spaces, reduce pollution and urban heat, and build stronger communities. Through the Hawthorne community's greening efforts, I've seen how even small investments in green space can change how people experience the neighborhood. I've seen my neighbors come together around shared projects and heard community members talk about how spaces like parks and gardens bring them peace, comfort, and relief during stressful times of their days. To me, that shows me that green stormwater infrastructure supports not only environmental goals, but also supports stronger and healthier communities. With that, it's been inspiring to see how investments in green infrastructure can both help address flooding and sewage overflow in Philadelphia and create spaces that people genuinely care about and feel connected to. As Philadelphia continues working toward its Green City Clean Waters goals, I think continued investment in GSI, especially across more neighborhoods, is really important. Thank you again, Councilmember Gautier, for introducing this resolution, and I hope we can continue to support green stormwater infrastructure for not only our environments, but for our communities. Thank you for your time.
Jake Zychik.
Thank you, Councilmember Ahmed and the entire Philadelphia City Council for recognizing May as Stroke Awareness Month. Stroke is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States and a major cause of long-term disability for adults, but is preventable and treatable. 1 in 5 women will have a stroke. About 55,000 more women than men have a stroke each year. And among women, Black women have the highest prevalence of stroke. About 1 in 4 stroke survivors at risk for another. May is also Blood Pressure Awareness Month. People with high blood pressure have an increased risk of having a stroke. Unfortunately, more than 1 in 3 American adults with high blood pressure don't even know they have it. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for stroke. That is why the American Heart Association is committed to improving access to self-monitor blood pressure machines. Access to these machines can help make and ensure pressure is checked and kept in check. That can help reduce the risk of stroke. The American Heart Association continues to work closely with stakeholders in the city, like you all, and the health department to improve access to these blood pressure machines in the clinical and community setting. Once again, we would like to thank Councilmember Ahmed for recognizing May as Stroke Awareness Month, and thank all of you in City Council for your commitment to addressing heart disease and stroke. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Member Ahmad. Number 1 killer of all people, no matter what your background is heart disease. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is William Small, and I am the Republican candidate for United States Congress in Pennsylvania's 3rd District. I oppose Bill 250807 because Councilwoman Bass sneaked 260242 off of there, even though my entire neighborhood wants to know what's going on with that building. The people of Philadelphia are tired of being ignored while our city falls apart around us. You want to sell public property while Kensington is drowning in addiction. Crime, homelessness, hopelessness, veterans who fought for this country are struggling to survive. Our children are trapped in failing schools. Working families can barely afford rent, groceries, or safety anymore. Look at the Philly Black workers here today advocating for the people, you know? And yet this city continues to prioritize illegal immigrants and policies that put our citizens last. So let me ask why? Why do taxpayers keep getting pushed to the back of the line while our resources, protections, and benefits constantly being allocated to people who are not even citizens while our own communities collapse? You swore an oath to the people of Philadelphia,
Mr.
not
Smalls,
to political agendas.
Mr. Smalls.
I'm telling you why I'm opposed to the bill.
Okay, just want you to
And
keep
not
you
to
on
people
top
who
of the
entered
bill,
this
sir.
country illegally. And while this city faces real problems, council members like Kitsy Lazada spends time on TikTok scrolling to lock kids up while ignoring the drug epidemic in her own community.
Mr. Smalls, could
Smoke
you stay on
shops
the bill,
from
sir?
illegal immigrants with fentanyl-laced weed are flooding our communities. Families are terrified, the people see it, the people feel it, and the people do not trust this council. And now the
Let's
Department of
just focus
Justice
on the bill,
is
sir.
launching investigations to illegal immigration policies. Oh, I've been
Thank
cut
you,
off
sir.
again. Y'all
We
crazy.
got you. Well, we just said stay on the message. That's
I was
all.
telling you why I was
on the
opposed
bill. Understood. Thank you very much for your comments, sir. Appreciate your comments, sir. Call next person, please. We got the West Politan Steppers in here today.
Amazing day, all.
Hello.
Amazing day. I am Melba Terrell, and I live in West Philadelphia. My question is, I live next door to a lot. I don't know whose bright idea it was to not put something over the land. My basement is flooded each time it rains outside. I requested to do a community property. I was told I had to pay $1 million for a lot. It's messing up the foundation where I am. And I'm just trying to see if we can come up with a resolution. It's for any lot that y'all have around the city. Y'all wondering why houses is collapsing? It's because it's messing up the foundation. And I don't want the house that this older lady is paying the taxes every year. I don't want her house to fall on me. So I'm asking y'all, that goes for any lot. I asked to make it a community garden. I couldn't even make it a community garden, and me and my neighbors clean it up. Curtis Jones don't send nobody out to clean up the neighborhood I'm in.
I can't even hear you.
I know you don't like it, Kenyatta.
I ain't saying nothing. I said I can't
Kenyatta,
hear
you don't have to say
I don't
anything.
even know you, man.
Yes,
Did not
you do,
like
Kenyatta.
you. I have a clue who you are. I was just about to recommend that you talk to Councilman Jeffrey J. Young, who actually has a bill to address your needs, man. I'm trying to be supportive of that, of what you're talking about, because we do have members working on addressing individual contractors who are doing development in our community that's having a significant impact on the people who live next door to them. Just wanted to give you some resources so we can follow up on your issue, ma'am. That's all.
All right, Kenyatta. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. But I want you to speak to this young man right here, Jeffrey J. Young. Jeffrey, could you just talk to her for a minute, please? If you don't mind, your staff. If you don't mind, sir. Mr. Obana Higgins, go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
It's actually pronounced Obona.
Okay.
Yes. All right. My name is Obona Paul Higgins. I'm a fourth-generation chattel slavery survivor. As Philadelphia remembers the MOVE bombing, we are reminded that people who do not confront their history are destined to repeat its failures. The MOVE bombing was not just a tragedy, it was a warning about what happens when government becomes disconnected from the people it is supposed to serve, especially communities descended from chattel slavery. People died in that bombing. Children died in that bombing. An entire neighborhood was destroyed, and for decades, many people wanted the city to move on without fully confronting the deeper meaning of what happened. But today does not disappear simply, the history does not just disappear simply because politicians stop talking about it. And that is why the current closing of 17 Philadelphia public schools cannot be separated from the larger history. Once again, the burden falls heavily on the same American freedmen communities that have endured generations of disinvestment, redlining, economic exclusion, and institutional neglect. Once again, we are hearing language of necessity, budget crisis, and reorganization. But our communities have heard that language before. After Reconstruction, freedmen schools were dismantled using the same logic. Underfund the institutions serving our people, declare them unsustainable, then close them while calling it progress. The MOVE bombing taught us what happens when government stops seeing certain communities as worthy of protection and investment. That is why remembering history matters. Because if we don't remember the past, we continue the future. And that is why I have decided in 2027, point of order.
Can you wrap
Why
up,
are you
sir?
bothering me? Let me finish. No,
But
my
your
time is not
up,
up.
sir.
Can I finish?
Cut it, sir.
I will be running for city council to change the attitude and the mentality of this city.
Thank you, sir.
Reflects what's in your mind. The mind dictates what's going on.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, y'all? On a lighter note, how you guys doing today?
The
Good
chair
afternoon.
recognizes Mr. Antoine Mapp, sir.
Yes.
Please begin your testimony.
Yes, sir. My name is, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Antoine Mapp. I'm the director of the West Paladin Steppers and Drum Squad. And as of June 25th, we'll be celebrating 35 years straight of keeping kids off the streets. So I just want to say, I hope you guys, thank you to Ms. Jamie. Thank you so much that introducing that we would want to get a street renamed after us. After 35 years, we done sent over 1,000 kids to college. We done paid for it out of our own pockets. We are infected with, first of all, thank you again for you guys standing up to the school district. I know y'all tried your best. I was out there with you, Ms. Jamie. We tried our best, but My school that we practice at, Paul Robeson, is one of the schools that's being affected as well. So we don't have nowhere to practice. So I got over 50 kids in my program. My youngest member is 4. My oldest member is 47. This is how we combat the gun violence. Every kid that's in my program is on honor roll. I just hope that you guys vote to help honor us on June 27th, that we can rename the street after us. And hopefully one day that you guys can make us the official team of the city of Philadelphia, because I see all you guys' faces and I perform for every last one of you guys in here. So it's only right that we should become the official city drill team to help me keep these kids off the streets. And please help us get a building. Once Paul Robeson closed, I don't know where I'm gonna take these kids, but I take over 5 to 7 performances a day. I know I'm in a Sixers uniform. The same inner city kids are the Sixers drum line. The same inner city kids are the Philly drum line. The same inner city kids is the official drum line of the airport, the official drum line of the sheriff department. So listen, I'm doing my best to help save the city, y'all. I'm doing my best to keep these kids from robbing and killing people. All they're doing is entertaining, and I'm mentoring them. They're learning so much. So just please help us, and please vote so we can get the street renamed after us. And you guys are doing a good job. I don't care what nobody say. You guys are doing y'all best at what y'all can do. Ken, you know it's all love, baby.
Keep up the good work for our young people.
Peace and greetings, City Council. Peace and greetings, Council President Johnson and the rest of the City Council. My name is Marcus Allen, and I'm a temp worker, and I'm here with Philly Black Worker Project. I'm also here in strong support of the resolution honoring the life and legacy of Benjamin Fletcher and recognizing the month of May as a month recognizing contributes of workers fighting for dignity and respect at work. Ben Fletcher, a Philly-born son of formerly enslaved parents, organized brilliantly and commitment to racial justice made him one of the most formidable black labor leaders in the United States history. Ben Fletcher, as a worker himself, recognized and seen for his own self that workers were being objectified as if they weren't people. So he decided to take a stand and help the people. Well, today I'm also ready to take a stand for our black and brown people. For workers of today is now time again of the people, for the people, as temp workers to get their due respect and what we deserve. I can give a list of problems with being a temp worker, yet I'm only going to name a few. Unfair treatment, meaning being treated with the same respect as direct hires when we are temp workers, doing the same work as they do, if not work better or harder because we have to prove ourselves. Being underpaid means we know that the direct hires are making $2 to $4 more than the temp workers. Where's the extra money going? We're not getting it. And we're doing all the work. I'm standing here today asking you to stand with us and join us in our All Due Respect campaign to start a new movement to getting temp workers what we deserve and what we work hard for, like health benefits, better pay, and the respect we deserve. Let's start our own legacy and begin another powerful movement in the city of brotherly love. With all due respect, we deserve better!
Council President, this concludes our listing for public comment today.
Thank you very much. This concludes our public comment period. I'm going to ask for some very special guests that we have in our balcony, and always remember that the future of our city is always observing this body. So I'm going to ask for the children from Universal Institute Charter School to please stand. Let's give them a round of applause. We will now consider resolutions on the final passage calendar and bills on the second reading and final passage calendar. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 260469?
A resolution also naming the 4100 block of Powelton Avenue as West Powelton Steppers Way to honor the legacy and impact of the West Powelton Steppers and Drum Squad on the community.
The chair recognizes Councilwoman Jamie Gaultier
Thank you, Council
for a
President.
motion regarding resolution number 260469.
Thank you, Council President. If I can add a very brief comment, I just wanted to note that as a result of ropes and closing, the West Powelton Steppers have no place to practice, even though they are keeping young people off of the street. And as they are the official drumline of the Sixers, who are very wealthy, I'm hoping that they will come to the table to help find these kids a place to practice. And thank you, Antoine, for coming to City Council today. And with that, I move for the adoption of the resolution.
I expect to see them on that budget priority list. It has been moved and properly seconded. The resolution number 260469 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries and the resolution is adopted. And I second it. I hope the Sixers do step up. I don't know. That last performance, I don't even know if they deserve a hearing. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 260480? Thank you, Coach Thomas.
A resolution supporting the proposed Sam Worley Elderly Tax Relief Act, legislation to exempt qualifying long-term elderly homeowners from school, county, and municipal property taxes on their primary residences in Pennsylvania.
Chair recognizes Councilman Jeffrey J. Young for a motion regarding resolution number 260480.
Thank you, Mr. President. And for the record, this proposed legislation is being proposed by a Republican in Harrisburg. So for the record, for those who were speaking earlier, but I move for its adoption.
It has been moved and properly seconded. The resolution number 260480 be adopted. All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Clerk, please read the title of bill number 260063.
An ordinance renaming and designating the property commonly referred to as Panati Playground, located at 3100 North 22nd Street, to the Allegheny West Recreation Center in recognition of the community and neighborhood that it serves.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to offer an amendment to Bill number 260063. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of council, and I move for the adoption of the amendment.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 260063 be adopted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the bill has been amended. This bill will be placed on our final passage calendar for our next session of council. Will the clerk please read any additional resolutions on today's calendar?
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Ad Prima Charter School for being designated as a 2026 State and National School of Character, becoming the first school in Philadelphia to receive this distinction, and celebrating this extraordinary achievement as a testament to the school's commitment to strong culture, ethical leadership, character development, and educational excellence, introduced by Councilmember Phillips.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips for a motion.
Thank you, Council President. In partnership with Councilmember Jones, who shares the school, I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Russell Byers Charter School on the occasion of its 25th anniversary and celebrating 25 years of educational excellence, civic purpose, and service to children and families in the city of Philadelphia, and further recognizing Loretta Byers for her visionary leadership and enduring impact, introduced by Councilmember Phillips.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Phillips for a motion on the resolution.
in honor of Loretta Byers, who's been an inspiration to myself and also in partnership with the District Council President for Russell Byers, Jeffrey Young, I proudly move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution has been adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution declaring May 13th, 2026 as the 41st anniversary of the MOVE bombing as a day of reflection and remembrance in the city of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Gautier.
Chair recognizes Councilman Gautier for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on the Environment to hold hearings on the implementation and progress of vegetated green stormwater infrastructure, GSI, under the Green City Clean Waters Initiative, and to examine the benefits of expanding green stormwater infrastructure throughout the city, introduced by Councilmember Gautier.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Gautier for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution honoring and congratulating the Blackhawks Athletic Club under-12 football team on winning the 2025 American Youth Football 12U Division I National Championship, introduced by Councilmember Thomas.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas for a motion on the resolution.
Thanks, Council President. Congratulations again. Councilmember Young, North Philadelphia. Thank you, sir. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Y'all want to be in a record? Aye. I'm dead serious though. All those signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing and honoring the month of May as Youth Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Philadelphia to center the well-being of young Philadelphians and urging the youth-led trauma-informed investments in every neighborhood, introduced by Councilmember Thomas.
Chair recognizes Councilman Isaiah Thomas for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All city council members signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing the month of May as Jewish American Heritage Month in the city of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Landau.
Chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing and celebrating Ben Fletcher, Philadelphia's revolutionary labor leader, and honoring Local 8, the 1913 Longshoremen Strike, and the city's Black-led tradition of multiracial solidarity in the fight for dignity and respect at work and in our communities, introduced by Councilmember O'Rourke.
Chair recognizes Councilman Nicholas O'Rourke for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of it.
All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as Brain Tumor Awareness Month, raising awareness of the impact of brain tumors on individuals, families, and communities, and promoting education, research, and support for those affected, introduced by Councilmember Driscoll.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Mike Driscoll for a motion on the resolution.
I move for its adoption.
All those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 to be American Stroke Month in Philadelphia. Introduced by Councilmember Ahmed.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Dr. Nina Ahmed for a motion on the resolution.
I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion being adopted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as National Tennis Month, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Dr. Nina Ahmed for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution recognizing May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Nina Ahmed for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Would the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development to hold public hearings on the process of starting a micro-business or a pop-up shop in Philadelphia, and on how the city can streamline that process so more micro-businesses grow into small businesses, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Nina Ahmed for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Chief Clerk, please read the title of the next resolution.
Council President, there are no further resolutions in my possession.
That completes our calendar for the day. Are there any speeches on behalf of the minority? Chair recognizes Councilman Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Council President. I want to thank the Philly Black Worker Project. The whole crew that came out to commemorate what can happen when black workers unite. I want to thank Minority Leader Brooks in her absence as I'm introducing that resolution on her behalf today. What excites me about the Black Worker Project is how it takes a certain politic that's concerned with the formerly incarcerated directly into the workplace. Not only fighting against employment discrimination, which is critical, but fighting for worker conditions, for proper labor rights. This is what we call democratizing the workplace. And in that spirit, this is, in fact, what democracy looks like. It's always an honor to collaborate with them, especially as they honor local history that isn't told enough. And I think to that point, when Philadelphians who've been around a while think about desegregating workforces, when they think about any of that sort of work, you're probably rightly to remember the late Reverend Leon Sullivan. And I know I have a few witnesses in the room. Ben Fletcher and his comrades enforced a desegregated workplace on Philly's docks years before Reverend Sullivan was born, and did it through militant labor action 113 years ago, right? History that we don't always know or tell often. Fletcher did this radical work in an era when America's civil rights movement was rebuilding itself while reeling from the first Gilded Age and the demise of Reconstruction and trying to survive the deceptively titled progressive era that y'all probably heard Clarence Thomas recently exploit in his bizarre revisionist lecture at the University of Texas. I don't encourage you to listen to it, but if you know, you know. Today, we're living through a second Gilded Age through the demise of our second Reconstruction. And I believe, along with the Philly Black Worker Project, that there's a wellspring of wisdom that Ben Fletcher and his comrades have for us to survive and thrive, dare I say, in our own trying era and time. Then, as now, when it really comes down to it, our power is in our numbers. It's in our labor. It's in our organizing and our organization. The structure of our economy, it has changed, but this system cannot run without us. And I know that I have colleagues here who are also going to resist the automatons and robots that want to try to make it so to operate without us. They need our labor. I'm an elected official, but the Wobbly's firm belief in worker power above and beyond the electoral realm doesn't offend me, not even in the slightest. Endeavoring collectively towards true governance by the people must be our aim, even as we fight for a representative democracy worth the name. To that point, as black representation is snuffed out across the South, I don't want to underplay the significance of 3 black candidates who have run, in my opinion view, a clean race for a congressional seat, a race with, at least between them, little backbiting or disrespect, vying for the support of a very diverse electorate here in our city. As some parts of the country go backward, I continually and increasingly see Philadelphia as one of the bastions, one of the outposts, as it were, of the America our ancestors dared to dream of during that first and second Reconstruction. So, whatever happens on Tuesday, I want Philly's next representative to know, and know well, that that's the America we are sending them to Washington to defend with every ounce of their strength. Whoever's in that seat needs to deeply understand that the gloves are all the way off now. Off. So do not expect a job where you aren't punching back. Punch back. Punch back hard. Your city will have your back if you do that. We are in a trying time. So to get you started on having your back, y'all don't make me foolish now, know the details on what Tuesday allows you to do. You have to return a mail-in ballot to a city satellite office or drop box by 8 p.m. on Tuesday the latest. If you need to know your polling site, because I know folks may have been moved around a bit, you can look up your address on atlas.phila.gov. That's atlas.phila.gov and scroll to the voting section there. Polls are open from 7 a.m. They close at 8 p.m. Philadelphia, do what we do best. Whoever you support, for whatever your reasons, you can start having their back by making sure that you vote and you talk to someone who you know ain't thought about voting and get out to vote that day as well. So thank you, Mr. President. Let's get out the vote on Tuesday, y'all. Let's win for our people.
Speeches on behalf of the majority, the chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau.
Thank you, Council President. Just a quick one today. Today I co-introduced a resolution with you recognizing May as Jewish American Heritage Month in Philadelphia. This month is an opportunity for all of us to encourage all residents to learn more about Jewish heritage in Philadelphia. As Rabbi Lizzie Horn Moses told us today, this month is not just about looking back, but it's very important to look at what we're doing now and what we're doing in the future. And as a proud member of Kol Tzedek Synagogue, that is exactly what we do. When we are organizing with our neighbors, when we are advocating against injustices, it is very important to lift that work up today. So thank you to all my colleagues for co-sponsoring this resolution. I invite you to join us downstairs in the mayor's reception room right after council for a brief resolution reception. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilman Jeffrey J. Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the spirit of Councilmember Thomas's Youth Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to let you all know that on Saturday, May 30th, my office is hosting, along with an organization in North Philadelphia called As I Plant the Seed, we're hosting a youth mental health awareness conference entitled All About Youth. For ages 12 to 18 years old at the Martin Luther King Recreation Center in North Philadelphia from 10 to 3 p.m. We're asking all young people to be accompanied by a parent, guardian, or organization. But again, that will be on May 30th, the All About Youth Mental Health Awareness Conference from 10 to 3 at Martin Luther King Rec Center. This Saturday, my office is hosting, along with Park the Broad Business District, the Girard Avenue Festival in Brewerytown. It's a free community celebration from 11 to 5:30 along the Girard Avenue Business Corridor from 29th Street to College Wall. And it is rain or shine. There will be 100 local vendors, live music across stages, community performances, great food, family-friendly fun, including the bounce houses for the kids, so let's bring them on out. Events like this bring our neighborhoods together, support the small businesses along those corridors, celebrate culture, creativity, and the energy that makes our community strong. Along that same note, there will be a briefing that's being held, or info session being held by the administration, the Office of Special Events, the Otis and Streets Department, along with the Parking Authority, and our office, on the temporary parking permits that will be required during the 2026 FIFA Fan Fest period. We know that many neighbors have questions and concerns about parking, traffic, accessibility, quality of life impacts. So hopefully this info session on Monday at 5 o'clock will answer some of these questions. It is a virtual session. Our goal is to work hand in hand with the community to make sure that residents are informed, protected, and able to enjoy the excitement and the economic opportunity that this global event brings Philadelphia. And so we encourage, again, all residents, you live in Fairmount, you live in Brewerytown, you live in the southern part of Strawberry Mansion, live in Spring Garden, we encourage you to log on to this info session. Again, it'll be Monday, May 18th from 5 to 6 p.m. You can contact my office or the Parking Authority to get more information on the registration permits. And at the Girard Avenue Festival this weekend, if you live in that community, if you're affected by the parking permit regulations, Parking Authority will be out tabling, issuing the permits on the spot. So if you live in that community, make sure you come out to the Girard Avenue Festival. You'll get your temporary permit, parking permit for the FIFA Fan Fest on the spot on this Saturday at the Girard Avenue Fest. And we introduced a couple bills today, Mr. President. I know folks, I saw some folks' faces when the titles were read. We introduced two bills that I think will bring safety to Philadelphia's rapidly growing e-bike delivery industry. The first bill will allow LNI to establish an official e-bike delivery license to create clearer standards and improve enforcement, particularly here in Center City where that is an issue. The second bill will require app delivery companies to maintain formal records of e-bike delivery workers on their platforms, and it also creates a fee for autonomous delivery robots. As we see that these robots are vehicles that are driving on our streets, on our sidewalks, excuse me. So we are going to give these vehicles permission to drive on our sidewalks. Then I think we need to regulate that a little bit more. We need to have smart, balanced legislation that protects the public safety, supports workers, and ensures that these corporations take responsibility for the systems and technologies they profit from. And on that same note of Election Day, being next Tuesday, I want to encourage people in North Philadelphia to get out and vote. When you look at numbers from some of the wards in North Philadelphia over the years, it has not been something to be proud of. But I'm asking you all, those who are listening, to please, let's hit the streets on Election Day, May 19th. Let's show out and let's show Philadelphia that North Philadelphia is worth your attention during these election cycles. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Councilman Isaiah Thomas.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Very quickly, first and foremost, during council session today, a student was hit by a car, and normally we don't do this, but this is the second time, and as council knows, this is the second time in 8 days that a student from Swenson High School specifically has been hit by a car. So I just wanted to offer our thoughts and prayers to the administration, to the entire Swenson family. We will be reaching out, and we have to think about what we do as it relates to some of the things that we've already done with speed cameras and other things around school zones to keep people safe. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I wanted to take a moment of personal privilege. As a city council, we're all a family, and I know Team Thomas and everybody who's on Team Thomas, there's no exception to that rule. And for us, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge, and if he could stand up, my friend, somebody who I've known forever, Preston Tillman. Preston's last day in city council is tomorrow, and he's been a phenomenal servant to the city of Philadelphia. Clearly, he's going on to great things, but I do want to let him know that his service to the city of Philadelphia is appreciated. Team Thomas appreciates him, and he is always a family member to this legislative body. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Chair recognizes Councilmember Ketsi Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to take an opportunity to respond to some of the noise that is happening out there. And I know that sometimes and you laugh, but I really don't find it, I really find it frustrating. And I'm going to tell you why, Council President. We allow for people to come in here and express themselves and freedom of speech, and everybody is like, rah, rah, rah. But then they all are gone when we are responding to them holding us accountable, when we're responding to issues that are happening in our own communities, because the loudest noisemakers are the people that don't live in the neighborhood. I do not want children in anybody's neighborhood to be locked up. But the reality is that what children see in their neighborhood determines who they become as adults. What they see in their neighborhood responds to their behavioral health condition, their emotional conditions, their social skills. It determines the kind of citizen that they're going to be in the future, right? In the city of Philadelphia, we've invested $24 million in gun violence prevention programs. Yet you have all these people talking about you just want them arrested because they're walking around in your neighborhoods with a certain type of weapon. So I said an automatic, and I don't want to see an automatic, I don't want to see a pistol, I don't want to see a rifle, because responsible gun owners do not walk around in neighborhoods with their gun or with their weapons strapped to their chest. We have worked really, really hard as a legislative body and as an administration and as a group of public safety officials to change the narrative in communities like Kensington and across the city of Philadelphia. We've worked really hard. Homicides and shootings are down because of the collective effort that we have had in responding directly to gun violence and to violence in general in our neighborhoods. Yet there are certain individuals that insist on the negatives of communities like mine, right? And if we put up videos, if we put up photos, we're press thirsty. If we speak up, we're angry, we're just talk. If we fight, we're angry and pissed off. If we cry, we're weak. If we complain, they want us to shut up, right? I don't understand what people want of us as elected officials. I don't understand what they want from us. At the end of the day, why are they not talking about the fact that in communities like mine, the people that live there are resilient? The people that are conducting businesses there are just trying to survive. The children that are being raised there are just trying to grow up in a place where they could be joyful. In their rec centers where they can play. But people like me and other electeds can't speak up when we see things that are outright wrong. We're supposed to just sit back and allow for people to treat our neighborhoods like we're cowboys and Indians back in the day. I don't understand that. We have children in our chamber. We invite children to come and talk and tell us how they feel. Yet, when people in this chamber respond to the negatives that they witnessed in their neighborhoods, then we are the problem. We're the problem. Why are these people not talking about the fact that through those $24 million, we should be working with organizations to connect young people to mentorship programs, to job opportunities, to sports opportunities, to financial literacy programs, to employment opportunities, to mental health wellness programs, to violence prevention programs, to art programs, conflict resolution, apprenticeship programs? Why are we so focused on whether we said a word that didn't match what they liked on the street, or whether this individual was legal or illegally carrying? What we should be talking about is what our children are exposed to every day that affects who they can become in the future. My children deserve all of that. All of our neighborhood children deserve to be able to live in communities that are safe, where they're not walking around and seeing this stuff and being afraid. My message to those individuals who have a whole lot to say, those keyboard bullies, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting for neighborhoods like Kensington. We're going to keep fighting for the good people that are just trying to survive there. We're going to keep connecting young people to all of those programs that I mentioned. And we also need to fight to change how the state determines how long it takes for people to respond to their food insecurity and food stamps compared to how long it takes you to get a gun permit. Because they don't balance out. It takes people 30 days to be able to get food stamps, approved for food stamps. It takes you less than 2 days to get a gun permit. How are we supposed to check the mental stability, the responsibility, and whether this person is capable of handling a weapon? How are we supposed to do that? And why are we not talking to our counterparts about how lopsided this is? We have to do better. We have to do better. Our children deserve better. Our communities deserve better. Our city deserves better. There's no neighborhood that deserves to witness what my community continues to witness. We are tired. We're tired. It has to stop.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Councilmember Lozada, for reminding us what our job is. I appreciate your passion and understand your frustration, and we are going to keep working and keep fighting. I stand with you. I wanted to talk about the stress and trauma Philadelphians are feeling every day, particularly now. We have a war being fought in our name far away. We have wars being fought right here, and Councilmember Lozada just referenced that. And we have so many other stressors in our life. And that's why, in partnership with Councilmember Bass, I co-introduced a resolution recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month, and make sure that the stigma is an ongoing barrier to mental health care, that we can remove it. This stigma is especially prevalent among men, older adults, immigrant communities, communities of color, and LGBTQ+ residents. And today's resolution works to combat that. In addition to Mental Health Awareness Month designation, I want to thank the National Alliance on Mental Health for your service, providing free education, support, and advocacy for people impacted by mental illness. I look forward to speaking on their panel tomorrow. Continuing in the vein of public health, I introduced a privileged resolution to recognize May as American Stroke Month in Philadelphia. Approximately 800,000 people suffer a stroke in the U.S. annually. This resolution acknowledges acknowledges the role of the American Heart Association in combating this and encourages Philadelphians to familiarize themselves with the risk factors associated with stroke. With this in mind, I also co-introduced a resolution with Councilmember Gautier recognizing May as National Tennis Month, so we can get moving and not get a stroke. Philadelphia has a long history with tennis, being the birthplace of Ora Mae Washington, an African-American woman who won her first national title in tennis in 1925 after only a year of playing. Philadelphia also hosted the first U.S. Women's Lawn Tennis Championship at the Philadelphia Cricket Club in 1887, and will be hosting a new WTA 125 event at the University of Pennsylvania, bringing professional tennis back to our city for the first time in 20 years. I thank the United States Tennis Association for your local work in Philadelphia promoting the sport, and I encourage everyone to get out and get active. I also introduced a resolution authorizing the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development to hold public hearings on the process of starting a microbusiness or pop-up shop. I have spoken to so many folks who have cottage industry that they want to put out and see if it's a viable business. Micro-business entrepreneurs, crafters, flea market vendors, that the process of selling their wares is confusing. We need to streamline the process to help pop-ups eventually move into a permanent, sustainable business, whether it be bricks or mortar, online. And I look forward for them to contribute to our economy. I want to personally thank Councilmember Jones for including me as a co-sponsor on the Bill 260298 this week. The bill changes the zoning designation for areas surrounding Lankenau High School, and I'm so pleased that the bill as amended has been reported favorably out of the Rules Committee. Despite the school district's decision to move forward with their facilities plan, I have not given up on Lankenau or any of the other schools on this closure list, and I'll continue to use all tools at my disposal to change this closure plan. And I want to thank Councilmember Gilmore Richardson, our majority leader, for continuing hearings on the Black women's economic health. Your leadership in this space is so important. Not only do we have to talk about the barriers Black women face, but what those barriers cause physiologically. I made a point of talking about something called weathering that has an impact. The stress, the trauma, all of the things that you face when you're trying to do things in an inhospitable environment has a toll on you physiologically. So it's important that we remove these barriers for everyone to participate in our economy. I also want to thank Council President for inviting me to this week's Mother's Day luncheon. It was an uplifting event, and I was glad to connect with so many amazing mothers in our city. It was also, the food was fantastic, Council President. And lastly, before the reminding about the election, I wanted to make sure you all knew we have a hearing on a charter change to create a Philadelphia Child Welfare Commission. This is going to be on Wednesday, May 27th at 10 a.m. in this room. I invite everyone to come and testify, and we would like to hear from you. And finally, don't forget, May 19th is the primary election. Polling places are open from 7 to 8, and you can go to the City Commissioner's website at votephila.gov to find your closest polling place. And I want to thank all of you every day for what you do. And you know, we are still having the fight for reversing the closure of the schools that are on the list. And I want to thank Councilmember Isaiah Thomas, who is the chair of the Education Committee, for standing with us in that fight and fighting and not giving up on this. Our children are watching. They're watching how we're responding to a crisis, just like Councilmember Lozada said, you know, we are doing this for our future generations. And once again, I will be sending another letter to the board outlining all different ways that this plan makes no sense, particularly for Lankenau. So I thank you all for listening, and thank you, Council President. I yield back to you.
Thank you very much for your remarks. As there are no more speeches, the chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas for a motion to adjourn.
Have a good holiday, everybody. Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council stands adjourned until Thursday, May 28th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
It has been moved and properly seconded that council stand adjourned until Thursday, May the 28th at 10 a.m. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. Thank you all very much.